practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome.
This is where you speak, Adam.
Hey, welcome to the I'm your host, Adam Dunn. And you are Dave.
I am Dave Charnick. Nice to see you, Adam.
Yes, sir. And we are not in the same studio. What the fuck's going on?
Why are we not in the same studio?
Why am I baby in the corner all of a sudden? I don't get it.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Exactly. It's Friday the 13th. And, well, you know, I got the fucking COVID. But that's how we start the show.
We wish it was a joke, but it's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Adam got the COVID.
Yeah. But, you know,
he found out
it's
rectally,
not a big deal.
though.
I'm dealing with it. Yeah, I had to find out rectally, of course. But, no, not a big deal. I feel fine. I just have to stay quarantined, apparently, now for fucking 2 weeks. So
3 months.
Looks like, 3 months. So
you have to stay quarantined for at least 14 days after your last negative test.
Okay.
Hey, shit happens. You know what? You're going to get through it just fine. You're healthy. You're young. You'll be fine. Nick will be fine.
He's like 50-something.
That's you.
I'm just kidding.
Fuck. So, can we just get it out of the way? Fucking Vinnie, man. So, Vinnie, who did the board last week, decided he was going to become an edibles maker.
Chocolatier.
A chocolatier. And so he got some oil from Adam, and he made us some edibles. And I, being the adult that I am, said to him, how many milligrams do you think are in this one? He's like
40 or 50.
40, no more than 50.
Yeah.
So Mark and I each eat the same square, like 9 minutes before feeling the effect. 9 minutes. This wasn't like the new True Pura or the Nove rapid onset that I was talking about on Instagram. This is straight up. I'm like getting trailers, like tripping balls. Like I had to ask him. I'm like, did you give me the wrong fucking one? Am I Sherman right now and didn't know? Adam's laughing his ass off on the background as we're doing this. So if anybody wants an edible that will just knock you on your ass, it's Team Warped. Look, he's coming back in. Watch him fucking say something on the... Stole my fucking news, too, about Casa Bonita being bought by the South Park guys.
Oh, come...
Fucking
you
guy.
can tell the people who aren't in the chat. Not everybody's in the chat.
There's thousands of people in the chat. What are you talking about? He says it in there.
But not everybody.
And then it's all retweeted. But yes, about 2 hours ago, they made a joint announcement to Matt Parker and Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Yeah. Along with Governor Polis, believe it or not.
What? I know, I saw that.
Really?
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Fucking Gov got in. He's like, fuck this. You're not going to let Casa Bonita, it's an icon of Colorado, go down in flames. And, don't you think it's what the article said? They did it.
Well, not only that, but the area there sucks so bad that, like, that's actually the worst part of Colfax, right? I mean, that's like... It's just nothing. There's nothing going on except that is about it. So once they come in and revitalize it a little bit, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you going to say?
I'm hoping for a 5-star restaurant smoking lounge. Dude.
Well,
I think smoking lounge for sure. They're going to open up. They want to do Integrity Farms.
Right.
Yeah. Did you read the article though? It happened like in Hollywood terms in minutes after they signed nearly $1 billion deal with it was Warner. Or Time Warner, or whatever.
It was a multi-billion.
Yeah, $900 million.
You know what the difference between 900...
Classic.
No, you go. No, we're on Zoom again, so everybody, we apologize for stepping on each other. Shit's going to happen tonight, but we're going to get some good pet information, and you guys can take bets to see if I become symptomatic before the end of the show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you guys will have fun with that. But a $954 million. You know what the difference between $954 million and $1 billion is? Fucking nothing. They'll earn that in interest in like 27 minutes.
Yeah.
It's fuck.
But isn't it classic of those guys? Their big purchase out of the gate, Casa Bonita, like some rundown shithole in Colorado. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we went out and bought 9 jets and fucking this. I mean, like those guys, let's get Casa Bonita. Like that's like classic. You know, I love that.
It's like they made a list of.
It's funny because I only went there once.
Oh, everybody only goes there once, man. What are you talking about? You don't go there more than once. You go there to satisfy one of your kids when they're a teenager and they want to see the buff guy dive into a pool and eat really.
Yep.
Pardon. They're the only place I've been to that can fuck up Mexican food. I'm just telling you.
Diarrhea for a week.
Yeah. Fuck. I mean,
no. I walked in there and I was lucky because I was like, I looked at the menu. I go, there's nothing on the menu I can eat. Great. And then we just turned around and walked out because I was like,
because all the beans have lard in it.
All the beans had lard, and all they had was pork, chicken, or beef. They didn't even have. There's nothing like that. And so I was like, well, "What are you going to eat?" I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "Let's turn around and walk out."
Well,
so, yeah.
You missed it. You would have had some good copy, man. You should have walked in and said, "Do you have anything vegetarian?" And they'll do like what they did to me at the Rio when I said, "Do you have any gluten-free bread?" They're going to hand you a brown paper bag, and they're going to go, "Here you go. You fry that up." But that is great fucking news. I mean, I'm glad that that's something they did. It would have really sucked, right?
At first, Casa Bonita denied them. Like, I was like, what? Like, that's what they first said. It was like, it was like,
it's too good for them.
They offered to buy it, and Casa Bonita said no. And I was like, who the fuck? Oh, not only have they made bad decisions this entire time, but now they finally can cash out and become a legend. Instead, they wanted to like keep grinding on with their shitty shit. So, shitty walk.
Are you telling me that anybody would know about Casa Bonita outside the Denver metro area other than people who watch South Park? They made it a global institution.
Yeah.
There are probably people that come here to say, I want to go to Casa Bonita.
It's actually
because I saw it on South Park.
It's a genius idea, dude. They actually,
of course.
Yeah.
They like, it's actually genius.
Well, and they do. Yeah, and it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing because you know they're talking to Polis to the governor about their Integrity Lounge is going to be there.
Fast tracking the lounge.
Integrity Lounge is going to be. Of course, it's going to be there, and of course you're going to have your because you know they already said they want to do their own farm and everything. So you're like, it's awesome when things like that become real. You know what I mean? Like it's awesome. So there we go. We love those guys.
We love to.
Let's see. On some sadder news, unfortunately, Wayward Bill, who's a local legend here in Colorado, also he's an activist, and what was his status at Normal again? I forget. I know he was pretty like the. One of the main guys there for a little while, but he's been fighting the fight forever. He was at every single party we ever put on, every single event that I ever went to. I saw Wayward Bill. Somebody did the Bills, and there's a memorial going on, and it's going to be. Do we have a date yet, Vinnie? Is he there still?
No. He did tell us. He says it's He said it's next week, and listen. I know we don't always get along, but a shout out to Chloe, who from her Instagram feed actually spent time at his side while he was in the hospital, and that's just props for a big heart to do something like that. That's a special thing to do. But
and she actually got Mayor Donovan to. Use the rugby grounds, which is in Glendale. So it's a huge, an amazing space for an event. So that should be a really good, gathering for him. Send him off. He definitely that guy had a smile forever, right? I think that you can look at every photo of him. He's got the biggest smile going on, so he always brought that to the room. So it's crazy how like every week we're doing a new one, right? Like there's just crazy times.
Vinny's outside. I see him outside the window, so I'm pretty sure he's either stalking us or he's about to give us information on where the memorial is, or both.
He's going to come in.
He's stalking us.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to get anywhere near me because he knows I'm going to throw something at him for fucking my head up so much. He's laughing outside the window, man. Oh, see, I can't even talk. I'm so high. All I had was one dab and a couple of hits off of a joint, and laugh all, laugh, you fucker. How was your week, Mark? Mark was gone last week because he was on a holiday,
a road trip,
to
a wedding, but we turned into a crazy road trip.
Nice.
Yep.
What's a crazy road trip like?
We spent the night in Santa Cruz camping, and then drove up to PCH to San Francisco.
Is that code? What is PCH?
Pacific Coast Highway.
Oh, okay. Okay. You got to be hip to know that shit.
Yeah.
We used to just call it the 101. Is that the same one?
Or you had to watch Chips when you were a kid.
Dun, 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 dun.
They're always on.
Oh,
is that where really? Oh, I get
on the way home from Eureka, though, we drove right past the Papa and Barkley smoking lounge. It's right off the 101.
Oh.
Did you go in?
No, I saw it out of the corner of my eye as I was driving, and I was just like,
oh, too much. You went too far.
Yeah.
There was no need to turn back around.
It was a weird time when we were driving, so I don't think they would have been even open anyways.
Oh, God. He's back now. Vinny, tell us, when is the memorial for Wayward Bill? Huh?
Chloe will have the date.
Hold on. Chloe will have the date soon, and we'll share it. We turned his mic off because he was a bad boy with those edibles.
I'm back.
All right.
Oh, he's back.
You sure you don't want to put the Guy Fawkes mask on? You might get some on camera.
I know.
He's not on camera.
It was when I was afraid of my ex-wife.
Okay, I see. Anyways.
Oh, Mike Denver. So for those of you not
Donka
reading the chat group, he had the good one there. He said that COVID is about to have more strains than weed. Oh, look, Adam's frozen with the drink in his mouth. Oh, now it's back. Damn, that was a funny one.
I like Elko's comment.
Was it a good one?
We had your whatever it was, your kombucha, carrot, mushroom, herbal blend.
This is a lot of ginger and mint and cinnamon, and then a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Cece just keeps feeding me, just like we were doing at the 24-hour show. So it's just the same thing, but now it's the 24-hour show. So it's just like less on the microdoses, but
right.
So, and any real weed news, or just South Park's coming to town? Pretty much are.
There was something.
Any real weed news?
I didn't see any real. Well, that's real weed news.
You guys are so high.
Well, the Integrity Farms.
Of course, that's real weed
deal. There's the Integrity Farms deal. You got real weed and Casa Bonita. I believe they're not even going to wait. They're going to start infusing the burritos right away. So on the menu in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would hope so.
They're calling it the Mark Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big fat burrito full of THC, and Vinny will eat it and get
and then you call it the
fucked up
Perez steamer after that.
Oh, hey, rim shot, cymbal crash. We thought it would have been funny if I would have been wearing an Adam Dunn Show T-shirt sitting in your seat here. Or we would have switched the things.
Yeah, I would have switched the things.
Hey, and shout out to Turp Wipes.
I could have gave you my old...
Given your old what? I can't hear him.
Oh, he just...
Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing.
Turp Wipes. Okay, when I sat down here, if I would have known any better, I would have thought it was one of those porn booths in a triple X thing in Manhattan in the 80s.
I lifted up the mic and it's all...
Everything's sticky over here. So all the stories he tells, they're all fucking true about... I wonder what Nick's studio is going to look like. PDX Amazing is have dab globs all over his fucking Legos.
Oh, you know, we guessed.
Well, hello. Is that Dr. Silver?
I moved all the Legos.
Oh, you moved them all. Oh, man, I must have had this Turp Wipe in my bag for a while. It's lost its structural integrity. It might have been drying.
Someone say integrity?
Did somebody say integrity? Welcome to the show, Dr. Rob. I think he's still loading up.
Yeah, he's probably still.
Hey.
Oh my God.
There he is.
Holy shit! This really, Adam, man, we got to talk. We could have, instead of me cleaning this area with the terp wipe, we could have had some. Yeah, there are dabs here. Okay, I'm serious. Someone might accuse me of.
Dr. Rob.
Nice to see you, Dr. Rob.
Welcome.
Welcome. Can you hear us okay? I'm going to go with no.
No. Adam can hear us, so...
Adam can hear us. Now. Can Dr. Rob hear us? Unmute.
I hear you.
Oh, you hear us. Good.
Yeah, you can unmute. We're ready to roll.
You can unmute. Oh, he's gone now.
Uh-oh.
And he's gone.
And there's a dog in the studio.
Okay.
It's a real studio now.
Yeah, it is.
Well, there better be a dog this week.
Yep.
I would hope so.
There's several. Oh, this one is really cute. What is this? Hi. This looks like a little Ewok.
Hey, so we didn't officially announce even the guests that we have on the show, so we should before Dr. Rob Silva jumps on. We also have Chris Martin coming in after from
Hempful Farms.
Hempful Farms out of Arizona, and they are a vertically integrated company growing all their own product and putting out CBD products, and they have a new line of animal products, and then he has another company called Paw Putty Pet Products, and that apparently has a 14-year-old CEO, which I think is kind of cool. I love when families create businesses, especially when it's something around it's like for animals from a kid. It's about as full circle as it gets, right?
I'm seeing a new COO, Nick Dunn. 14 and 8. That would be a great executive team right there, man. Right, Mark?
Tell me about it.
Nick Dunn on the board there.
You want to text him again and tell him or just make sure he's.
Yeah, he was probably just testing the mic.
He was there.
Yeah, okay. I will text him.
Oh, I get it. It's 4:48. That's why. Okay, no, we still had. Yeah, that's why. All right, no problem. We're good.
Maybe he just logged in and turned his camera off just so he can be on. I don't know. It's okay. He'll come back at 5 when we have him in.
No, he's not on here.
No. Okay. Good then.
Okay. Good.
So let's see. Mark's trip. He survived. He didn't. How is the? So where he had a wedding? You said? Did you?
I had to go to.
Was any debauchery going on? Was it a debaucherous wedding?
Wait, did Bonnie catch the bouquet? Because that would be bad for you, man.
No, she didn't.
Oh, that'd be so classic.
No, she did not.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Come on now.
All right. Any highlights from the drive?
Dude, just
car sex, anything like that?
Pacific Coast Highway.
I mean, the fact that you actually drove past one of our sponsors and didn't stop in and be like a rock star. You could have just rolled in and been like, "I'm Mark," and they'd be like, "Mark, oh my God, we all listen to the show," because the way Boris has been on the show 5 times now.
Oh right,
or not. Actually, not.
He's been on the card 5 times.
Right, maybe 6. But he promises he'll blow us off again in the near future. He's pretty confident of that. So it will happen again. But oh, damn. There it is. By the way, all the really nice swag that Papa Select sent us, the really nice hats, the shirts, they're all at home.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I can see the box where I put it, and I said, this is a good spot for me to put it so I won't forget it. Yep, I failed.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
But and hopefully we will have some of their newest extracts really soon. Next time I see Boris, when he comes to Colorado. And I'm embarrassed to say the batteries that I put in my Carta were dead.
I have a battery pack for you.
No, it's something about this seat that just kills dab rig juice.
Dude,
really,
it's true.
Every time Adam sits down here.
So just to show you. Just to show you how on point I am, look at the date on that if you can see it. It says August 1st, Casa Bonita, South Park. See, I was ahead of the game, dude.
Yeah,
I was already
bro.
on it.
I know. And
I even take
not possible. You just typed that right now.
No. The funny part was I did that, and then I never talked about it. So like I just like I made the idea. Oh yeah, I got to do it, and then we totally spaced it out. And
No,
then they said they weren't going to do it.
We did talk about it beforehand, but they said they got nixed, so I don't think we brought it up during the show.
Yeah.
So you do get credit
So I
for
know.
that. All right. Put a note in
There
his
you go.
column.
Thanks for the credit.
Yep.
Thanks for the credit.
I'll get right on that.
There'll be a bonus
Get
in
on
your
that.
check this month.
I write a lot of things while I'm here.
Do you even... I don't think I've ever seen you use
here
a
we go.
writing implement. There he is. Can you hear us, Dr. Rob? I'm going to go with no
I'm
again.
gonna go with no. We're working.
Hi.
On it. It's
Coming.
okay.
It's coming.
He's coming.
It's coming. Yo, yo, yo.
Let me know when
Usually
you can
takes
hear
a
us.
second. Hey, hey.
Maybe, can you get him on the chat and tell him maybe he has to change his audio?
No?
No.
I got it.
No. Mr. Green Ghost, Adam is not in the studio tonight. He is at the farm studio tonight on some AOL
COVID
dial-up.
cottage.
COVID cottage. Come on. You guys are going to do just fine. You'll be negative, and then you'll
Dr.
have
Rob,
to be
you
strong
there?
like bull. I think he's
Dr.
trying. Are you chatting with him at all?
Yeah, I
They're-
wrote to him.
They're engaging.
Okay. That's a good start. I was also going to say while we're yes we are, but don't worry. Tell them we are.
Yeah. Yes, your strap is on, and Adam is in SpaceX.
Let's try it this way.
Oh, we only heard you.
There we go.
We heard
There
you.
we go. There we go.
Can you hear us?
There
now?
we go.
Hang on.
Okay, we heard. Hang on.
It's coming together.
It's coming
hear me now?
together.
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
No?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Okay. I can't hear you, though.
You can't hear
Now
us?
you can't hear us?
We'll do that.
Okay. We got one.
One part of it is happening.
Click
One of these
audio
guys.
settings.
I think what I'm going to do is disconnect this and disconnect this.
So you tried to go all high tech on us. You need a mark for stuff like that. There's no.
Right.
Don't try to do that shit on your own.
Yeah, well,
My rates are
I,
really low. You guys.
We heard you there, Dr. Rob.
I was unable to hear you, though, which, of course, is a problem.
Can you hear us now?
Sure.
Everything's fine. I removed the technology, which I was using for my own podcast.
Sure.
And
I did the same thing. I had to take out all my
real,
stuff. I was like, I
got
had
this real fancy microphone and everything. But if my quality, if my sound quality is okay,
Oh yeah.
here we go.
sound fine.
yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm
You're
good with
good.
it.
You're good.
Good. Excellent. I'm looking forward to this.
Nice
Welcome
to
to
meet
the
you.
show.
Thank you. Are we starting?
Oh yeah. Welcome.
Yeah,
We're-
you're
okay.
speaking to tens, if not hundreds of people right now, soon to be tens of thousands as they slowly downloaded over the weekend.
Well, that's good. I've got important messages for your listenership
Awesome, man.
regarding cannabis and pets.
But please include cats too, because we did get some hate mail from all the cats out there when Adam put the card up and said dogs are people too.
Oh, I know.
Lots of cats got
I
pissed
know.
off.
I can speak to cats, I can speak to horses, I can speak to goats, and I can speak to llamas and birds. But dogs are
Sweet.
mainly my wheelhouse,
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they're so it's like I titled the thing. People are so attached to their animals, and they're so integral to their life. And dogs, obviously, being cats don't give a shit if you're in the room or not. They pretty much. Occasionally, you'll get one who is trainable. Or, hey, Chris.
I'm always fond of saying that dog comes when called, but a cat takes a message and gets back to you.
Right. Hey, Chris, you're an hour early. Call back at 6 o'clock our time, and then we'll get you on.
Are you guys in Mountain Time?
We
too?
are.
Oh, where are you?
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay.
It's okay. Thanks, Chris. We'll talk soon. See ya. Peace.
Cool.
All right. Nice one. This is your classic. classic Zoom type conversation where we have to go through all the
time zones
motions to get to. Yeah, get everybody on the right page and everything. But so you started your career like 40 years ago, apparently. I guess something like that, close to 40 now.
Well, don't tell anybody that though. that dates me. But I graduated in '82, and from the vet school in Fort Collins, and
nice.
in practicing ever since. Retired from practice to work in this space in 2010. You know, when things looked like they were starting to ramp up around 2009, when dispensaries were able to open here in Boulder without feeling much, or in Colorado without feeling much pressure. So I now work in the cannabis and hemp spaces for pets, and teach veterinarians, write books, develop products, and have a heck of a lot of fun.
That's the name of the game.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, the thing is, I think people, I've seen such an amazing results with CBD and dogs, you know, because people have there's so many issues that are real noticeable, and you know your animal, you know when he or she's hurting, and then you can see the results. Sometimes, like I had some CBD chews that gave my friend, and he was literally like ready to put the dog down, and then he was like, dude, 3 days later it was like back. I was like, that's so crazy. So tell us how you kind of like, I mean, you must see results like that on a daily basis, right?
Well, you know, it varies from animal to animal. There's so much individuality in terms of the kind of response you get in people or in animals when they take CBD or they take any of the other cannabinoids, including THC. But yes, it's the CBD is remarkable in how wide it can, how it can affect so many different organ systems in the body and so many different disease types as well. And there's a reason behind that, you know, which is what we call the endocannabinoid system, which I don't want to get too technical here, but it's something that's in all of us. And that's what the target is in our system for these plant molecules, which is what kind of makes things go, you know?
Sure.
You are
we're definitely familiar with the endocannabinoids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fully versed, but for the most part, like I think what I noticed also though is with like the dog response compared to the human response, like there's a lot less. It's like it's more real to me, because it's like that dog couldn't move before, now that dog is. Whereas CBD with us, it's like, well, what else did you do? You know what I mean? It's not like the dog has a huge diet where, oh, I maybe smoked a couple joints earlier, and then I went. It's like the dog is only, you know, eat that CBD.
Well, you also have that emotional thing in people, you know, that affects their own response, but also affects their perceptions about their pet's response too. So
sure. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure there's some of that. And so, are you working with other cannabinoids too, like CBG and CBN and other things?
I am. I have been working with those. I'm working with a company that specializes in the minors and the acidics. I've developed a love affair with CBDA, with cannabinoidic acid, in terms of its anti-inflammatory effects, just in my own body, in terms of my aging arthritic changes. It's been remarkable what it's done. And as well as I have an autoimmune disease. And so for myself, it's been just wonderful. I recently formulated, I'm developing my own, launching my own branded product line. I'm calling it Doc Silver Naturals. And I've just launched a CBD, CBG 2-to-1 ratio tincture for the dogs, in the hopes that the advanced anti-inflammatory potential for CBG will boost some of the things that CBD can't touch. We'll see. You know, there's so little study.
No, it's awesome.
Things are so new that oftentimes you have to shoot from the hip and go with the best indications you can from what the studies tell you.
And when we were doing our little pre-talk, you had mentioned that you felt that there is an acceptable amount of THC that pets can handle. I was always under the mindset that THC was contraindicated to dogs, but after speaking with you, my eyes are open to a whole new, you were talking about how it has to be really microdosed.
Well, let me explain this. You know, talking about the endocannabinoid system, when they measured the density of CB1, those are THC receptors in the dog's brain, and compared it to other animals, including human, they found that the dog has a hugely larger number of receptors for THC in their cerebellum and in their brainstem, which humans don't, which is why it's considered to be so safe for humans. You cannot overdose with THC. With dogs, when they take THC, because it affects their balance, they get this really crazy thing called static ataxia. And I don't know if you can see me do it, but they kind of stand base wide and they kind of rock back and forward. They can't move. They may vocalize. They may salivate. They may pee on themselves. And it's people, I think there's some stoners that like to kind of blow smoke in their dog's nose and then watch them stumble around. I totally decry that practice. I think it's abusive to the dog. And dogs don't want to be stoned. They don't want to be high. They're survivalists, and if their balance is off, if their vision is off, if their reaction time is off, they don't like it, So really, the secret with THC is that you can avoid these side effects in the dog if you start with a small dosage, give it for a couple of weeks to develop tolerance. This is why pot smokers, for instance, have to keep smoking more, because they develop tolerance to the psychotropic effects of THC. Well, we can use that to our advantage in the dog in terms of starting with a low non-psychotropic dosage and giving it time to develop tolerance, and then gradually increasing that. It still will cause sedation in them, but it won't cause that weird ataxia. And here's an interesting story. Back before they were able to analyze for THC levels in smuggled shipments of marijuana way back when, in the Reefer Madness days, they would feed it to a dog. And if the dog would have this very classic reaction, they felt that they had enough evidence to convict in court. Thank goodness dogs are happy now that we've got analyzers and they don't have to be fed, the cannabis.
And when you said starting with small doses, maybe elaborate on that, because a small dose to someone might be not acceptable to that animal. Are you talking about like half a milligram?
So here's what we do with animals, because humans are all about the same size. We don't really talk as much about the milligrams per pound of body weight, but because animals have so many different sizes, it's easiest, if we're talking about how to dose them, to dose it based on milligrams per pound or kilogram of body weight. So typically with something like CBD, I might use half a milligram per kilogram, or a quarter of a milligram per pound approximately of CBD. With THC, I would start with 1/100th of a milligram per kilogram twice daily. And so you just need to weigh your animal, and then do the math, and I'm about to finish a book I've written, which will have good guidance for the pet owner so that they don't make any math errors, in trying to compute a good starting dosage.
So just to clarify, so 100-pound dog would be 1 milligram.
Would be...
or 1/10 of a milligram.
I'm sorry. Yes, it would be 1/10 of a milligram.
1/10 of a milligram.
But that's 1/10 of a milligram per kilogram. I keep the dosages in kilograms in my head, and I keep trying to translate them verbally, because most people deal with pounds versus kilograms. So it's really 0.05. It's 0.05 milligrams per pound, or 0.1 milligram per kilogram.
Yeah, so I was, when we were talking earlier, I had purchased at an Indo Expo from a pet company there that claimed to have they called it a full spectrum for pets. Okay. It had a dog's paw on it. And I gave my dog, I think, 5 drops. 5 drops. And that, I don't recall what you call that medical condition, but she did exactly that thing. Yeah. She did a wide stance, and then she crashed out. And I didn't, I didn't feel good about that afterwards. I threw that thing away. I've been giving my dog 5 to 10 drops per day of True Pura broad spectrum CBD tincture on her allergy pills. And I've been doing that for about the past 2 years. And she has no more pain. She thinks she's a puppy, and she's going on 10 years old, and she does not have the inflammation on her paws anymore. I've heard this said before. I got a new dog. You know, I hear a lot of people say this. So,
I've heard that too. You know, it sounds like you found, you know, the right product for your pet. Obviously, the response is, you know, is obvious. But depending on the concentration of, you know, how many milligrams of CBD does it contain in that 30 mLs, that speaks to how many milligrams you have per drop. A general rule of thumb is about 30 drops to the milliliter. So you could use that as a way of kind of guesstimating what the actual dosage is. But I'll tell you, ultimately, the dosage that each animal needs is very individual. So we just use these dosages as starting points. And then you want to bump them up a little bit, bump them down a little bit to get the results that you want. And generally takes about 7 to 14 days, I would say, to have an effect of CBD or THC, oftentimes a lot sooner. But if it isn't happening by that period of time, then it's time to increase the dosage because maybe it will be better. And broad spectrum is really what I do recommend as a starting point for dogs and for cats, just to avoid the possibility that someone measured the amount of THC wrong, which is probably what happened in that product. Also, the terpene myrcene. When you see the terpene myrcene in larger amounts, even in a broad-spectrum CBD product, it tends to be quite sedative. And in many cases, that's what you want. But if you don't want that, then that may explain that there's not THC in there. It's actually that terpene myrcene.
Have you finding that any other minor cannabinoids have positive effect on our pets? Like Adam was saying earlier, CBG, CBC, THCVA, anything like that?
Well, THC.
Yeah, how about the THCV? I'm interested.
Well, I'd
be interested. Yeah.
I've been playing with these minors. I've gotten samples of them all. I'm kind of dabbing them myself at home, you know, to kind of get a real blast of what it would affect. THCV is really interesting because it has what we call a biphasic response. That means that a low dose of it creates one effect and a high dose creates another. It has anxiolytic effects at a lower dose, but at a higher dose, it's psychotropic and enhances some of the panic attacks that you can see with THC. So dosage is really important, and it's not always a straight shot. You know, it's not always like, yeah, just give this amount for this poundage. It may depend on, you know, is there a minor in that full spectrum or broad spectrum that has some impact, and then when you're dosing that can also have, you know, an adverse effect or a beneficial effect. There's so much that we need to know. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to enlist companies to spend some frickin' money on research. And I'm affiliated with a vet school in Tennessee, and we're trying to, that is actually focusing on cannabis studies. And we're just trying to see if we can't get, you know, some real data out there so we know, you know, more effectively how to treat our pets better, you know.
I'm waiting for some targeted, dialed...
I'm sorry?
I'm waiting for the cannabinoids to get really dialed in so that somebody like yourself can sit down and say, this is how we design a treatment plan for our pets based on the pet, their weight, and the different cannabinoids that we know work for them. I guess that's the future.
It is the future, and you know, I'll tell you where that future is going to go, which is really kind of cool. It's going to be an interface between genetic sequencing, because they can use, you know, genetic sequencing in the dog to determine, you know, what are its best needs in terms of the minors and everything else, and so that way they can do a genetic test and then from that tell you what might be the best blend of minors and terpenes and everything else. But that's I'd say 5 or 10 years off from now.
So there's a lot of data to be collected for sure. And what about different breeds and different kind of reactions to cannabinoids? Have you noticed anything with that? Like at labs point, don't get it or get it worse than.
No, you know, I think at this point, I would have to say, I think it's more just individual within a given breed. You know, we know that breeds like greyhounds, for instance, are super sensitive to drugs. It doesn't take much to affect them, and there may be some of that. And there's some genes that they have that make their livers less able to detoxify or break down some of these things. I think that's definitely a possibility. It's just not something that I have observed. Speaking of cats, you mentioned cats earlier, and cats do very, very well with CBD, and cats are more resistant to the adverse side effects of THC, but they still will get them at higher dosages. There's only one single study, or actually there's two studies now in cats, because they're so hard, to handle, to draw blood from, to give things to, in a way that doesn't, totally freak them out, So cats are difficult.
Sure.
Horses are easier. We've got some good studies in horses. And horses are very responsive. And with horses, we don't dose them the same way by weight, because the bigger they are, the harder they fall. They take much lower dosages to get the same effects. So that's kind of cool too. I've been working with a company in Montana that's been developing horse pellets that are all CBDA, and that's a pretty cool product.
Yeah, I think that's literally such for animal feed in general, even if for cattle also. It would improve the quality of everything down the line, because if your starting point is highly dense, nutritious product, that instead of some cut feed that they're normally feeding them, then if it's for cattle for beef or whatever, then it's going to be higher quality beef just out of the gate, right? And be beneficial for the people down the road. So I think animal feed is such a huge, and the numbers are so huge that you really couldn't supply it right now.
No, you couldn't.
The amount of hemp that's being grown
and we're finding
processed properly.
We're finding some good applications in cattle and in horses, for CBD. The problem is that the FDA, we don't know yet what happens with small amounts of CBD in the meat that humans are going to be consuming over long periods of time. So that's going to take a while before we can see hemp that has cannabinoids in it being fed to food animals. And the other thing is that, that's a pretty good hot.
No, it's going to be high cow disease instead of mad cow disease. Anybody who consumes cannabinoid beef, it's like you don't even have to smoke after you have the hamburger. It's 2-in-1. I want that.
Well, I think that's what the FDA is afraid of. But the thing is, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I had heard about a study that they were doing recently where they're using seaweed to feed the cattle to reduce the methane, because it's, but also that hemp was also super beneficial, and that would be like, amazing if that's the case. Did you hear anything about that? 'Cause I just heard about it recently.
I did. It was a patent filing. It was very interesting, and we need whatever help we can get with this global warming. I'm down for that. But something I wanted to say was that the FDA regulates animal feed very, very closely, and even for dogs and cats. And this is because animals, prior to them becoming pets, we ate them. And so they're part of the human food chain. Dogs and cats not, but they are regulated the same way. So because of that, because hemp's been on the blacklist for so many years because of the reefer madness stigma, around cannabis, that hemp is not approved as an ingredient for food for dogs, cats, horses, cattle, or whatever. Right now, I'm working with a group that's submitting a petition to have just the seed and the seed protein approved as an ingredient, and that's a place to start. Get that in place, and then we can start talking about getting some safety studies to show that cannabinoids improve the animal's health and their ability to produce their food products, whether it be milk or eggs.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm confused, because I always thought that the hemp community was selling a lot of their their biomass to be used as cattle feed. Are you saying that it's really they're doing it, but it's technically in some gray area?
if they are growing it and using it themselves, or like maybe just selling it across the road to another local farmer and doesn't become a product of commerce, then FDA has no say in that. So I imagine that could be that very well could be happening. I don't have any. I don't know about that, but it could be certainly. It's when it goes into, it's the interstate transport part that the feds get into, you know?
You mean if I take a hamburger across state lines that ate, and then when the cow ate, biomass, then technically I'm transporting grass across the state? I mean, across state lines?
You'd be in deep shit, dude. Yeah.
Adam, don't let me do that.
Yeah, he's in big trouble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Adam doesn't eat meat, so that's never going to happen to him. So it's not going to.
Well, he's a smart man.
Yeah.
No.
So are there, because we got in touch. Well, I wanted to say we got in touch from Dr. Cohen because I reached out to Joe Cohen and I said, Joe, do you know anyone I can speak with? We had some interest about doing a pet health show for cannabinoids, and you were the first person he said. He goes, you don't have to even ask anybody else. You just have Dr. Rob Silver on. He's written a book. He lives here in town. He's the guy. So shout out to Dr. Cohen. So just to give him a 2 seconds. Hey, Joe, if you're out there. But you can visit Holos Health, and you can get a medical cannabis evaluation. You go to holoshealth.com. And if you ask for the Dunn deal, you will get 15% off your physician's evaluation, which would allow you to go shop at Green Farms Med in Colorado Springs. Shameless plug.
I will tell you that Joe does it right as far as the medical marijuana examination. He really treats it like a standard medical exam. It's not like, just a rubber stamping to get your card, and they even remind you to come back the next for your follow-up, Mm-hmm. So he does a real good job.
No, he has he's got a nurse practitioner there as well. He speaks with you. I even got on that, I don't know. Adam would look at it and go, "Fuck! Don't get on that. It's going to fuck with you." But it's the
body mass machine.
Yes,
that one.
I want to get on it now.
Oh, is it one of those things?
Yeah. You have to hold. You have to hold these like two things that give you COVID when you hold them, and then the anal probe goes in, and then one in your mouth.
Oh, you're joking! No,
yeah, of course I am. You just stand on it in your underwear.
You're high, dude.
Yeah, of course. You stand on it, you hold these things, and it tells you, if your body is in equilibrium, if you're standing correctly, it tells you your BMI and a whole bunch of other things that in the past I never really wanted to know.
Cool.
I would like to say something, if I could, because, and hopefully folks will hear what I'm saying, is that veterinarians were not included in the legislation that allowed medical doctors to recommend medical cannabis. And it's a big deal because it means veterinarians not only can't recommend it, they can't even talk about it with fear of losing their license. And the only way that we can correct that is to petition the legislature to put language into the legislation here in Colorado and in every other state in the union that allows veterinarians to share in that conversation, because what's happening in states that are recreational, like Colorado, and there's like nearly 20 now, that are recreational, is that, anybody can go into a dispensary and pick up something, with a 21 or older ID, give it to their dog and send them straight to the ER, and bud tenders aren't as knowledgeable about pets and about some of these deals that I'm talking about. And that's why veterinarians need to be part of the conversation, and legally we're not allowed to. Now, I'm not in practice, and they can take my license if they want. This is my First Amendment right to talk about this stuff, and I'm doing it to reduce harm in the animals, So I, put the cuffs on, take me away. I'm not going to stop talking about it.
Oh, Adam loves you right now, man. You guys are broing out. Keep going.
Cool. Well, that's cool. So I speak widely to veterinarians, and I tell them this very thing, and I tell them they need to talk to their clients and get their clients to get politically active. Veterinarians are not very political, and they really need to be more political around this, even though these days politics is kind of a dirty word.
It's rough because honestly, right now in Colorado, bud tenders shouldn't be answering any medical questions, but for pets, they should be giving at least warnings to people when they hear them say that I'm going to use this on my pet. They should say something. There should be some handouts or some literature or something, to give
once
them.
I get my book printed out, I'm going to try to see if I can distribute it in the dispensary marketplace. Have them there. So
it's good. Educate everybody a little bit.
Yeah, educate. I think education is the best medicine, personally.
You won't get an argument from us.
Well, it's preventative, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, what about how like you were saying about the receptors and the back in the base of the or the top of the neck and stuff? What about other animals? Have they tested them like llamas and birds? And what's the reaction of THC and to those animals?
Llamas spit much less when stoned.
Yeah, they got a cotton mouth. That's perfect. Yeah. Great way to keep your llama from spitting on you.
See?
Keep them high all day.
Sorry, Dr. Rob.
We got a new product. We got a new product.
Yeah. Llamas are almost like aliens. I don't know if you've ever spent any time with them or if you've ever gone backpacking with llamas and in the mountains on the full moon. You look at them, they look like they're aliens. They're very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Mark just walked out, by the way.
How's your endocannabinoid system compared to the other ones?
I'm sorry.
Hey, Mark, too high?
Yeah, he just walked out. Sorry, Dr. Rob.
What about the...
I'm sorry, Adam.
Is the endocannabinoid system in, like, for instance, in a llama, is it more responsive or less?
We don't know. We don't know. This is also new. I mean, they only learned about the endocannabinoid system in 1995 or something. Now, they've done studies. I know. They've done studies in dogs. They've done some studies in the cat. They've done. I'm waiting for the study in the horse. They've done it in humans, rats, pigeons, primates. Those are the ones I've seen so far. They found the endocannabinoid system even in some protozoa, something called a hydra. The only thing we don't see the endocannabinoid system in are insects, and that's because insects don't have the fatty acid that's used as a precursor to the creation of the endocannabinoids, anandamide and 2-AG. So it's interesting. I wrote a paper.
So basically, all those joints we smoked and tried to. I was going to say, all the times you thought you were getting those insects high by blowing smoke on them, they weren't getting nothing. There's just big waste of time.
I don't think they like the smoke, actually, because it clogs up their little spiracles, which are the holes that they breathe through in their chitinous exoskeletons. I should be getting high, too, but I was...
Many...
I thought about getting high. I know you guys do, but no. When I get high, I get stupid, and today I'm supposed to be smart, So I want to be.
You'll be right on our level.
Well, I want to be sure I'm clear and and explaining things in a way that because you've got a good listenership, and I want to be able to give good information, and you can certainly, please invite me back, for future things. Maybe, I don't know if you do call-in, Q&A, things like that, but...
for sure.
Wait, you want to come back on the show?
No, we love it.
Of course.
We got we're all about having smarter people on the show than us to make us look a little bit better, so that's guaranteed we'll get you back on the show, but we're not done with you yet anyway. So
that's fine.
What about lizards, things like that? Because that's something that's sort of a lot of people live with the lizards and probably
isn't there a whole Cheech and Chong
Cheech and Chong made it a very Exactly.
Well, Stacy Keach turned into a lizard. I was
wondering, would they even be getting high? Or?
I'm going to have to plead ignorance on that one. I've worked on lizards. I like working on reptiles. They're pretty interesting. They don't die on you so easily as birds, which you just look at them sideways, they stress out and have a heart attack. But I don't really know about that. I know that snakes don't cough, so I'm not so sure they'd want to inhale. But I don't know, and I haven't read anything that is in any of those exotic species. I can't really help you. I did offer some CBD to.
They look stoned.
Well, yeah, they do, but they've got that lizard brain, which is probably what winds up being amplified when we get stoned. The appetite, the smells get heightened. Your vision's heightened, your touch is heightened. Those kinds of things. Mostly we just know about dogs and horses and cats in that realm. But it's coming. I know I've been working. There's a colleague of mine who works with dolphins and marine mammals, and she's just developed a CBD supplement to be given to them, and she's done some work with them. But she hasn't written a paper or discussed her findings or presented them anywhere yet. So I don't really know much about it. I should probably call.
That is that's some proper, like, if that's your product, like at a trade show, it would be kind of hilarious to see a booth which is like, so what do you guys do? Oh, we make CBD for dolphins. You're like, it's so funny. Like you're like, well, I don't know who has dolphins, but yeah,
I have two in my pool.
I mean, obviously that'd be
there's actually
industry.
a lot of marine parks around the country, no,
I know that people do have them, but yeah, it's kind of it'd be a very funny niche market, is what I'm saying. That's for sure.
Well, it is, but
dolphins.
With zoo animals, I mean, it's the same thing, and there's a need amongst them for something to maintain health.
What if you had to give?
That's a real good point.
A gorilla or an animal, a tiger, something that could kill us, right? If given the opportunity, a cannabinoid blend that made them, I'm going to say high, but I'll say docile or able to accept the medical treatment or the exam a little better than giving them harsh tranquilizers or opioids or whatever, they normally give them. I think there can be a whole future in that.
There could be, but personally, if I was working on a tiger that had just been given cannabinoids, I would not feel very safe. Because they're not going to be completely immobilized, and that's right. The thing. These are wild animals with canine teeth that long.
Well, maybe it allows you to use less of the anesthesia, and you're still totally safe.
It could. We found that the CBD actually and THC actually enhance the effectiveness of opioid therapy. So you need less of the opiates in order to get the same pain relief. So it could be. That's a possibility. And I think all of these things is stuff that we're going to see rolling out over time. Right now, the veterinary profession is just kind of wrapping their mind around the fact that something that used to be stigmatized can actually be an amazing medicine. And more are coming to that realization. And just getting the CBD across is an issue. I'm starting to teach the minors now, and, you can just kind of watch their eyes glaze over. And these are, technically trained doctor types, but,
sure.
You got to watch it, even with them, right. Talking things like pharmacology and receptors and shit like that.
Interesting. And so you were working with Folium Bioscience too, right? So that was that was way back when. That was I started in 2014. Oh, okay.
Right at the beginning, right after the first farm bill, and stayed there until just about the pandemic, and then that all kind of petered out. And that was a great experience for me as chief veterinary officer, and to go behind the scenes and learn, go to the farms, see how they were dried, see how they extracted. They used multiple technologies for extracting and making water soluble and nanosizing. So I learned a heck of a lot working there. And it's,
the interesting thing is that the hemp market really, for a lot of people, it peaked out right then, and it hasn't recovered as far as like there's a lot less people in the game because tons of people lost money. There were a lot of hemp just rotted on the field because there was no market kind of collapsed in a sense. But I think with the pet introduction of more, because the numbers is astounding, because you start thinking about how many people have animals and how many animals they have. Like one guy could have 7 dogs. Compared to like 7 dogs for one person, or the other way around. So it's like, that numbers can get huge. And also, sorry. So it could really help boost the market.
The statistics say 67% of all American households have pets, but we don't really know how many each household has or what the total number of pets are. The pet CBD market has been much more stable, I think, than the human CBD market, and is starting to show signs of growth again. And when you have the kind of feeding frenzy that we had from 2014 up through 2018 and 2019, there's going to be people that were not smart players, that just didn't figure out how to husband their investments, even in a troubled marketplace.
Not smart players in the cannabis industry. What are you saying?
We call it survival of the fittest. It's just evolutionary.
Adam said at the beginning of the pandemic that everyone's going to have a podcast now, and look what has happened.
It's true. I've gained a lot of quite a following from my webinars through a veterinary media company.
I can't tell if Adam's frozen or not, but you have a new book.
I do. Well, it's almost done. I had a little detour. I thought I was going to be done by now, but it's. I'm calling it the Pet Parent CBD and Cannabis Bible. And in it, I'm going to go through everything, including covering 6 or 7 of the of medical conditions that pets can be treated by CBD. But as an integrative veterinarian, I use a whole lot more than just CBD. So I'm also going to share with them diet changes and other types of herbs and supplements, and also conventional approaches to these conditions in the pet. It's going to be, it's going to be a pretty nice book. And it's kind of a follow-up to the book I wrote in 2015, Medical Marijuana and Your Pet, which is still quite good, but there's so much new information. I just wanted to update it and put in everything that we know now that we have more hands-on experience with CBD and THC in pets, and more studies that help us to understand how to dose it and what are safe levels and things. So it'll be published fairly soon, probably this fall, mid to late fall. And I'll be selling it on Amazon and my own website and places like that. Hopefully it'll be a hit.
Also was, I guess you studied acupuncture for pets also. So do you still practice that, or?
Well, I'm not in clinical practice anymore, so I don't do acupuncture anymore. But I did.
Acupuncture.
I was certified in 1993 in veterinary acupuncture, so I've been practicing it for quite a while.
Wow!
And it's an amazing thing to use on animals, and there's no placebo effect, and it does work really well. And so I believe in what we call the multimodal approach, which is why I use just one single agent, especially if you've got a complex, difficult to treat disease, instead of using multiple agents, acupuncture and CBD, a good diet and antioxidants, things like that. Fish oil. In fact, fish oil is known to actually enhance the effects of CBD and the endocannabinoid system. So
what about fish shit? We have a sponsor who sells fish shit, so that was a bad joke, Dave. Wow. I'm sorry.
You are so high right now.
Dr. Rob, you don't know. We have a chat gang, okay? We have a bunch of really fun people who listen to the show while we're live, like a studio audience, and they're chatting.
They're live there with you?
They're live with us in Cyberland. And it's tough because I should have told you this before the show, because sometimes if we break into laughter here, it has nothing to do with what you're saying. It's that one of our best, Rosin Dogs, says, my hippos eat 300 pounds of CBD a day. And literally Mark had to hold his hands over his mouth to not laugh. And so I didn't want you to feel like I was laughing at you. We're laughing with the studio audience, who's cracks me up most of the time.
Thanks for the explanation, but I'm getting a contact
shout out
here anyway. I'm enjoying it, so it's all good, But that's the other issue. Well, that's what Adam. You're asking me about large animals, and can we use these materials in them. And yes, we can, but at what cost? And I think that's also part of the equation in terms of getting the studies done is having the costs come down or figuring out how we can fund those kinds of studies.
Ooh.
What happened?
Nothing. Somebody just said something that needs to get kicked off the chat, gang, or wherever that person is. Ban them. Look at that. We finally got a troll. That's you've arrived when you have a troll. So excellent. So what's the website when it's going to be your website where if people want to get in touch with you
well, it's a shop. It's an e-commerce site. It's called wellpetdispensary.com, just like it sounds.
Oh,
Pet Dispensary, it is. And we sell CBD products there, and my own products. We also sell other supplements because I also offer advice to customers about what would be the best products to address the complicated diseases that their animals have. I have to be careful because I can't really dispense medical advice, and I'm not dispensing medical advice, but I do want to help them, and I oftentimes will direct them to veterinarians in their local area, or just try to help however I can because they need help. And that's so we do a lot of customer service, and we have very loyal customers who've been in existence 7 years now. And it's not just a CBD website. It's really a place for people to find support for their pets' difficult diseases. Diseases like cancer, epilepsy, inflammatory bowel disease, renal disease, so on and so forth.
Did we cover if cannabinoids would have an effect on chickens and pass on anything to the eggs?
Well, cannabinoids would have an effect on chickens. And in fact, there's been several studies published to find out just how much does get passed on to the eggs, and they do find a little bit of THC does get through, but it's a very, very small amount. These studies originally were done in the EU, which has always been a bit ahead of what we're doing here in the U.S. So I know that, and we also have some studies in pigeons, which are not that dissimilar from chickens in terms of mapping out their endocannabinoid system. So chickens are actually, although they're pretty funny watching them walk around like that, they are definitely something that we know quite a bit more about than some other species.
Really only THC they tested though. Just tested for THC.
Well, for the government, THC is the bad boy, So they wanted to see.
So they want to dose a bunch of chickens. I like this. The guy's like, get those chickens. I want to see those chickens.
Well, they were being fed hemp seed protein, which should have no THC at all. And the only THC that you find in the seeds comes from sprinkling down, sprinkling from the trichomes that kind of covers the seeds. And so if you wash the seeds, you don't have the THC, but these weren't washed seeds. And they did get a very teeny amount, and then they went through these multiple pages in this paper about discussing the safety of that much to the human population. But no, chickens are fair game.
Oh my God,
I love chickens.
So that'd be because I have chickens here, so I should start feeding them more. I mean, I do. I give them I give them weed every so often, just to let them all. I give them fresh cuttings and stuff. They love it.
I lost
so they
my
more or less
just a couple years ago to the bear. We have bears here.
Yeah.
And, the bears love those chicken coops. It's free food.
Yeah, exactly. They we had a bear here, and my mom calls the animal guys, and they just were like, "Lady, if he's they go bears." Chickens are like Skittles to if the bear is chasing you, if he's chasing you down, give us a call. Like that's basically their thing.
I thought if the bear's chasing you, throw him a chicken.
Ha boom. Oh, you're welcome back anytime, Dr. Rob. We have 3 seats here, by the way, after Adam gets back into the studio. So
you're here in Colorado? Where? Down in Denver? Or?
In Denver.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not too far from you. So, I used to,
Well, I want to know, I'd be interested to see if something, because I love eggs. If if it
Me too.
did something to the eggs. You know, that's as soon as I said that, I'm thinking, Adam, you're hearing what I'm saying here? You know, we could this is a business opportunity.
My guess would be that the THC and the CBD would go through to the egg. Just as with a milking animal like a cow or a goat, it should also be in the milk. So this could be a very interesting experiment for you guys with your chickens.
Hey, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, and you know, and feed them. You know, feed them your.
How do we get it tested, though? How do we get it tested?
We'll eat it in the studio before the show.
Tested.
You would eat it. You would eat it.
Yeah, but we're not going to get higher.
But the problem is, the problem is that the THC that goes into the eggs is going to be THCA, unless you're feeding them decarboxylated biomass.
But you cook it.
I don't think it's going to convert. Well, it may
the egg.
Yeah, but that's not
I think
that's 190 degrees at our altitude. It needs to be, you know, a much higher temperature, or it needs to be cooked at that temperature much longer, like an hour, to decarboxylate it.
Well, if you decarboxylated the product before you fed it to the chickens, maybe then it would be ready to go.
Let me talk about decarboxylation a little bit as well, because that's one reason why we are so why we look at CBD instead of CBDA, because you know the cannabis industry has always been directed towards getting high and towards decarboxylating the raw THC. We've always decarboxylated our biomass. And so the assumption was THC needs to be activated by heat, so must CBD. Little did we know that the raw THC and the raw CBD have huge benefits of their own, you know, which and are not psychotropic in nature, which for some people may be a downside, but for other people is an upside. So that's why I think the acidics really are the next big thing that we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a wide open game for a lot of people, because it's just getting to the point where I think America's accepting the fact that this is not leaving. We're definitely staying. It's just here to stay.
They let the genie out of the bottle. You know, it's
taking a while
get it back in. You know, but I'll tell you, I think that I think CBDA, the biggest problem. There's two big problems with CBDA that I'm working on solving. One is the taste. It is a awful taste, and it just lingers in the back of your throat. The other is that over time, exposure to light and heat and oxygen will cause it to convert to CBD, which isn't a big problem, but I think CBDA has more potency. So I'm working on that particular product issue, and then I'm going to come out with something.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to do a CBDA CBG blend, a 1-to-1, and put them together.
Got no problem with that. Anything that works.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it seems like 1-to-1 blends. 1-to-1 blends always, like with at least with THC and CBD, are always like guaranteed. Seems to work greatest. Like I've seen strains that are like real low overall, maybe 14% total, but it's like 7 and 7.8. You know what I mean? And then those things rock people. Like everybody has the immediate effect. It works really good, like medicinal, you know, and you're like, it's only 14%. And they're like, what? You know, because they think everything has to be 30% THC or it's not going to get you high, which is ridiculous, you know? So, but those 1-to-1 seem to be the best for medical.
You know, CBD has the ability to temper some of the psychoactivity of THC, which can be a good thing, but it also kind of reduces your high a little bit, and it also can reduce some of the medical benefits of THC. So the benefit of CBDA also is that it doesn't impact your high, and it doesn't impact the medical ability of THC either. So those are a couple of good things to think about with regards to that.
Doc, when you talk about the psychedelic effect that pets are happening, that are feeling, somebody had asked in the chat gang earlier, and I have no idea if it is safe to give any type of hallucinogen. Somebody said psilocybin. So either agree or totally dispel that myth so that nobody goes out and tries something they shouldn't with their pets?
I have no frickin' idea what it would be like to give a psychedelic to an animal. And quite honestly, it's not attractive to me. I wouldn't give it to my own dog. I love him too much.
Right.
I cultivate that mushroom in my basement here. It's a fun little cultivation, just as I cultivate my cannabis outside in my garden. But and I take it, but I just would not be comfortable giving it to a dog. It's just too little known. I don't have any information. I'd rather err on the side of safety.
Everybody hear that. Don't give any psychedelics to your animals.
I just don't know. It could be.
If you had a pet reindeer, maybe it's in their genes back in the day where like, yeah, reindeers love psychedelics. You know what I mean? That's their thing. Everyone knows that. But psychedelics in animals is interesting because obviously some animals are 100% sure seek them out. You know what I mean? But that's like so individual. And I think, 100%. And I think with dogs, it's like they're so dependent on us that any changes in their perception would be too extreme, too difficult for them to deal with, just because they're used to their perfect, like 3 o'clock. The dog is there waiting by the bowl because he knows it's 3 o'clock. He doesn't know how to tell time, but he knows it's 3 o'clock because he's fucking like on it. Like, boom,
he might start targeting or something.
So I'm sure if all. If time
wait, Mark was trying to say something.
Things got strange. I don't know.
Mark, Mark, go ahead. He's high as fuck. You think I'm high? He's toast. Go ahead. What are you to say, Mark? You went blah, 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 blah. And you looked at me like nobody understood what you said, and you're confused.
I was just gonna say maybe start talking to you, but you give him mushrooms, man. I don't know. But I'm not gonna advocate that. Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm done.
Don't do that. Don't give your pets any psychedelics.
Absolutely not.
No.
So I just want to say that when it comes to mushrooms, and I'm actually working now with a mushroom company, a medical mushroom company, and developing some products for pets and trying to get some research going. But the mushrooms that are poisonous and the mushrooms that are psychedelic, which is a type of poison, and are deterrents to keep animals from eating them. That's how they survive. Just like some plants have thorns on them. That's why the cannabis plant creates so many resins, because it's meant to be pesticides, insecticides, keeping the fungus away, all those things. So, if you just follow
but then you get those crazy African goats that can... I was going to say, but then you get those crazy like African goats or whatever that'll eat the thorns, no problem.
Sure,
so I think there's, you know what I mean? There's always that and there's definitely some. I mean, go ahead. No, go ahead.
If you have information,
it's like the stone Dave theory.
Adam, if you have any information, if you read something, that you have an article that you can retrieve, or if you do in the future, please send it to me. I'm very interested in this, and I just don't have any reference points to look at. I don't know about these reindeer, what you're describing with those guys.
Well, because of Santa and the flying and the nose.
Oh, the thing is that
I'm Jewish.
No, the reindeer is documented. Reindeer is documented.
Oh, really?
So the reindeer is documented. Because it's all that the people who are raising the reindeer would drink the reindeer piss, because the reindeers would eat them and they would detoxify the mushrooms enough that because if you ate the mushrooms straight, they were a little bit too toxic, but the reindeer had no problem. It's not that they didn't get super high, probably because they just liked them. So I think they didn't have the receptors as much, but they would love to eat them. So they would eat them, and then the people would drink the piss and get high. That's how the whole.
Okay.
So the Santa story. The Santa story is, the mushrooms grow in a circle around. They grow around a pine tree, right? Mm-hmm. So they grow around the pine tree, and the flying reindeer is a combination of, well, you're fucking toasted right now, and you just drank some reindeer piss, so you're definitely seeing some fucking flying reindeer at that point. And then you had elves and in the woods, and you told the stories that came back to the kids and said, "Oh, we were in the woods and with the elves and the stuff." So it's very interesting. Actually, Jack Harris wrote a book about it. It's a whole book about it. So that's fully documented. But other animals, there's still there's the Jack Harris.
Is that you said? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he wrote it. That was his last book that he wrote. So there's a lot there. Like I said, I don't know if they got high. I just know that the people got high after they drank the Reindeer Piss because it didn't process through them,
That's the Amanita Muscaria mushroom. That's the red mushroom with dots on it. It grows widely in Europe, and it was used in many types of ritualistic ceremonies, more pagan types of ceremonies in Europe at the time, and the drinking of the urine of people that would eat it was a common way because it is fairly toxic. I've tried it. I've come upon it here because it grows here in Colorado too, and I've tried it. Sure. And I was worried about it creating because it's second cousin to the most poisonous mushroom in the world, the Amanita pantherina, which a quarter teaspoon will liquefy your liver. So I was a little nervous about eating it, so I dried it and smoked it, and I did get off.
And where does that one grow?
Yeah, Adam wants that right now.
Where does that one grow?
It grows here.
I want to make sure it don't.
Oh, it can grow in your
not
backyard.
the Amanita muscaria, but the other one.
The pantherina. Yeah, it's just a white mushroom, a white gilled mushroom. It looks like many others that aren't that poisonous, and will oftentimes get dogs sent to the ER. Because they've eaten these poisonous mushrooms, and if they've eaten too many, they'll die, as will we. So mushrooms, mushrooms are amazing organisms, and what they can do is we're still learning, just like with cannabis. In fact, I have a talk on mushrooms that I say medical mushrooms the next best thing after cannabis.
Agreed.
Because it is.
I mean yeah, for sure. Well, microdosing is huge, and it's finally bringing a lot of people into the fold where they, who get the benefits without necessarily deep diving every time. Because I mean, I'm sure you're from the same generation as us, where I'm a little older, but we all went for macrodosing. You know what I mean? None of us even understood microdosing back in the day. We were just like, you told somebody you were going to take that much of a, you'd be like, what are you doing? It's like 5 grams or nothing, right? That was kind of the mentality. But I think nowadays people finally, by weaning back, you get a lot more out of it.
I was in the days of Owsley, Purple Haze, and Orange Barrels, and those macrodosing.
Everything.
Yeah, the macrodosing days.
Yes, those are the good old days. Our bodies were younger and our minds were foolish.
We never care in the world. It was so easy.
We were immortal. Yeah. We were immortal.
We might still be. We just kind of don't believe it anymore. So it makes.
Well, we probably are immortal. We just aren't immortal in these bodies. Oh, well,
I like that one.
True.
That's pretty
pretty accurate for me. I can dig that one.
And you only know, and you can only find out when we find out. So it'd be like,
I know
it is, or it isn't, but
no one ever comes back to tell you.
Right.
Well,
right. Yeah, I mean, occasionally there's somebody who does die and comes back and tells you something, but at the same time, it's very hard. I mean, no one can know the experience until they get to the experience, right? And that's one we're definitely all guaranteed to deal with at some point, which is, that's going to be the thing to, if they have a sick or dying pet, is like having a child where they'll just throw anything at it and spend, $10,000 on a dog that should probably be put down anyway, but it's because it's so there's like so much sentimental attachment to that animal, and it's that's why I think the industry is bound to become as big, almost if not bigger, than the human side of the CBD side, especially because once people see that the dog likes it, they're going to buy those CBD products so regular. Whereas if it's you a person, you might. It's like a fad, you know what I mean? You'll do it for a couple of weeks and then you'll be like, try something new, but with, consistency is like the key, I think, with feeds and with, their they're not so used to having a huge, different, varied diet all the time. What about the home prepared meals compared to the conventional? I mean, do you have recipes that you tell people? Because it seems like
I endorse that wholeheartedly. And there now are some commercially available foods that are almost like those for people that don't want to spend the time but have the money. But no, for 25 years in my practice, I taught people how to do home prepared meals. And I think, and if anything, of all the fancy shit I was offering and I've learned, I think diet and good food is the single most important thing you can do. And the commercial foods, the kibble, it is crapola. Even the really expensive stuff. It's not the same as the real deal. Not the same as wholesome food. But it takes attention to detail, and you have to be consistent. And a lot of people can't even freaking feed themselves in a healthy way. So you can't expect them to be able to do that for their pets either. So that's why we have, blended diets, things that they can buy commercially, things they can add, healthy leftovers to their foods. We've got supplements, things like, fish oil and brewer's yeast and spirulina and things like that we can add to the food to help increase their nutrition so they don't have to, do the homemade diets, which still are the best, but not everybody has the ability to do that. The time, the money, the attention to detail,
Yeah, no, it's, I think, what do you think about, like, for instance, they sell now the kind of logs that are in the fridge and you kind of slice them up and they seem a little more semi-real compared to...
This is what I was referring to. There are...
Either canned or...
There's some better offerings now on the market.
That's what we feed our dogs.
Yeah, either they're raw or they've been cooked. And either way, they're still wholesome food. And I think that's the key to healthy eating. Now, some dogs don't do well on foods, but most do.
I would imagine. What about? I mean, everybody. So many people are guilty of. Well, I don't know if it's guilty or not. I was going to ask you. What about table scraps? Like because everybody's. I mean, my mom's dog. In his later years, just all of a sudden, he's just like chow hound. Like he's ready to eat everything off anybody's plate. But in general, is it good for him, or do you think, or what is let's say the danger of food more than anything? Well, you shouldn't feed them.
I think table scraps, if it's healthy food and it's fed in the right proportions, can be a good enhancement to bland kibble, dry food, but it has to be it has to be done in the proper way. Otherwise, the animal will get overnutrition in certain things and undernutrition in other things, and maybe gain weight. And weight is the single biggest factor that determines length of life, quite frankly. And the thinner the dog is, and the less and if the leaner they're kept, the longer they live. Period. We've got a study that actually proves that in labs. One group of labs, I let them eat as much as they wanted, and the other group of labs, they decreased their calorie intake by 25%, and the dogs with the reduced calories lived 2 years longer on average. I mean, that's significant, and if you're a lab lover like myself, they just don't live long enough, so...
Does that apply to co-hosts too?
It could.
Okay.
As long as you're not lifting your leg, Right. But I think table scraps. It depends again on what the people themselves are eating. If so many households don't eat very healthy food, it's already processed. It's just it's not balanced. High in carbohydrates and fats and sugars, and lower in protein and vegetables.
Oh, for sure.
Things that count. But no, I think it's possible. That's what I did when I was in practice. I would try to find programs that I could suggest to the pet parents that I knew they could do. I mean, because there's some very complicated homemade diet approaches that I think just don't get done. They might get done at first, but over months and months, forget it. It's not hard to do. I trained my 13-year-old daughter when she was 13. She's 17 now and won't do this at all. But I trained her to prepare the homemade food for our dogs, because we feed our dogs homemade every night. Now, either it's and whoever doesn't feed the dogs is preparing dinner for the people. And then my wife and I trade off. We have a cat. We feed the cat birds. We buy quail from a game producer that have been they're dead and frozen, and we skin it. We skin the feathers off, and we just put it down, and the cat eats the entire bird. We don't feed them. We don't feed the cat kibble. We don't feed the cat
so cool.
canned food. It's called the prey diet, and it's the natural diet of cats, but it's not something everybody's going to do. But my last 3 cats that were fed that lived to be in 19, 20, and 21, which are pretty good ages for a cat.
Wow. Very good age for a cat. I just somehow I have a 9-year-old son, and he finally, I think the other day, fed the dog because he had to cut the thing, and it was like too much for him to deal with. If I told him he had to pull feathers off of a bird, he would freak out. So I think that you have to be dedicated for that one.
My 17-year-old daughter, who screams at the sight of a spider, just petitioned us for a long time to get this kitten after our 3 cats passed away. We finally got it for her, but gave her told her that she's going to have to feed it the right way. She's skinning these birds herself, even though it's like she's totally squeamish about it, because love can make us do a lot of things. She loves this little kitten. It's a real cutie.
I have a feral cat.
And how long is that? Is that every day? Is that every day, or is that like?
Well, you got to feed a cat every day.
Well, this cat.
I don't know. I don't know. Cats are weird. Cats depends on how much to digest the whole bird. How long does that take?
They generally eat daily. If you're talking about a feral cat out there, it catches as it can. That oftentimes doesn't get a really big meal. We tend to overfeed them. They say that just a couple of tablespoons of food is probably enough for most cats. Put down the kibble. Kibble's over 50% carbohydrates. Cats don't have enzymes to digest carbohydrates, so feeding them kibble that's got carbohydrates in it drives them to type 2 diabetes. And we can correct type 2 diabetes in the cat by feeding them a high meat, high fat diet. It's interesting. I love nutrition's really been something I've done a lot of work in, and it's a good area to work in. Everybody needs to eat. Just you eat right.
So is all the kibble fall into the bad category? Can the Costco stuff that supposedly is the high end rebranded, that's still for shit?
Well, I think it's better to feed a food that at least we've got some science behind it in terms of the nutrients that it provides. But the model of dry food is that it's processed at high temperatures, high pressures, and there's the molecules change in the food to become more pro-inflammatory. Plus, carbohydrates alone, when you take high levels of carbohydrates themselves, are pro-inflammatory. So you can't make kibble hold together. You can't bake it unless it has a bunch of carbs, because it needs the carbs for binding. So that's why looking at canned food or homemade food or frozen food, they even make dehydrated food. You add hot water to it, and then you can maybe add some raw meat to it. There's a lot of choices these days. But I'm not going to say kibble's bad, because millions and millions of animals, that's all they'll eat, and that's all they'll ever eat. And many of them live to be quite well. I'm kind of a purist about things, and I understand the details. So I tend to promote a more natural approach to feeding than the commercial approach to feeding. Also, GMOs. The food, the ingredients that go into pet foods tend to be less expensive than human ingredients, which means that they're almost always going to have GMOs in them. If they've got soy, if they've got corn in them, and a lot of pet foods, corn's the first ingredient. And there's some studies that show we can actually measure glyphosate, that's Roundup, in the blood of dogs and cats that are fed kibble. And there's some studies that show that. So it's so that's another reason to be careful about commercial food or to feed an organic.
And that would cause like leaky gut syndrome, the same as with people, or is it could?
It could cause leaky gut. We know that the glyphosate itself, Roundup, has an effect on the endocrine system, on hormones, and there's a lot of environmental toxins like glyphosate. The lining in canned cat food, for instance, is BPA, and BPA is a hormone. It functions like a hormone, and it actually can cause hyperthyroidism. It can cause a problem.
Interrupter.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, like, it interrupts the
endocrine disruptor
signal there or something.
Exactly, yeah. And so, for instance, we had a flood here in Colorado in 2013. We lost our freezer that had the birds in it. So we started feeding the cats canned food because that's all we had. And one of the cats came down with hyperthyroidism as a result and died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how do you transition a pet that's already hooked on the can to the bird?
Well, it's not for all animals. And, we started this kitten young, and this kitten was fed by the breeder a raw meat diet to begin with. So it wasn't something that it wasn't familiar with. A cat that grows up eating kibble from the very beginning can turn into kind of a junk food junkie in terms of being addicted to that one crunch, that one taste, that sort of thing. And so I would start with canned food, if they're on kibble as a way. And then, I would peel the bird and cut it up into smaller pieces to give them more of a taste, let them lick it first. And, but not, you can't make an animal do something that it's not going to do. So it depends.
And what about catnip?
Especially a cat.
Yeah, especially cats. They're very, very independent, as they say.
Maybe tell us about catnip. Does that really get cats high?
Catnip is cool stuff.
Of course you get to it.
And catnip actually is an herb that's been in use for many years in humans. We use it for colic in infants. It has a very calming effect on the tummy. Catnip was the first herb as an herbalist that I worked with, but it contains a molecule in it that is called nepentine, which stimulates only the cats, only felines, and it stimulates them, and then it kind of sedates them. So when I was in practice, I would put dried catnip on the floor of the exam rooms when I'd have a cat, and the cat would come in and roll in it and get high or whatever, get excited, and then it would slow down and get quiet. And that's when I would come in to examine it, so it would be more easy to handle. And it seemed to work pretty well. With the dogs, I used peppermint oil. Peppermint oil helps to calm dogs down. You rub a little bit into their pads, and it's like aromatherapy. The pads heat the peppermint oil up, and they smell the aroma, and it settles them down. So,
dig it.
Little tricks, little tricks of the trade.
Good. There you go. That was a nugget. That was officially a nugget. Mark sleeping on the wheel there. What's going on?
Right here.
There we go.
A nug,
Thank you.
That was a nug, all right. Yeah.
That was an official nugget. That was an official nugget right there. We had much more because we're slow today. We were slow, that's for sure.
Well, we're not trying to step over the delay that comes with the Zoom twice and everything like that, you being in Studio 1B.
Oh, well, here's a subject that, unfortunately, I'm dealing with right now. What about COVID and pets? That's why I'm out of the studio.
Apparently, cats are much more susceptible to it than dogs. Mink, very susceptible to it. Wild cats also susceptible. Primates. So, but they get the virus, but they don't seem to get the disease. It doesn't seem to affect them. We have other coronaviruses that affect cats and that are pretty bad, and others that affect dogs that can cause diarrhea. But nothing that would be a problem. You have COVID yourself now, Adam?
Yeah, I just figured it out yesterday. So
okay, how you doing?
Fresh on the block.
I'm sorry.
I'm fine. I mean, I had like just a day and a half of fever, and that's pretty much it so far.
Okay. Yeah, I
got my smell, got my taste, got my breathing.
Okay, good.
But go ahead.
There's a study that showed that using selenium and taking 800 micrograms of selenium daily for 7 days will wipe the virus out. And I have that on. It's a very safe treatment to use, unlike some of the others. But I'd like to invite you to reach out to me, Adam and Dave, if you need some advice about your own animals.
Well, thank you so much, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
You're a great guest. It was a lot of fun. I felt this was a great segment.
Yeah.
I'm hoping everybody learned a ton about how cannabinoids can benefit your animal. And
it's a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. You do a good job here. And one of these days, I went after harvest. I'd like to share with you my grow and watch you smoke it on the.
We're 100%.
Green crack is going.
Yeah, come on. You can come to the studio when it's after harvest time.
I will for sure. Sounds fun. Well, it looks like Chris is up. Huh?
Awesome, Doc. So.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys.
Thank you so
Yes,
much,
sir.
Doc. We'll talk to you soon.
Chris.
Thank you. I'll sign off now, but take care, guys. Have
Take
fun.
it easy. Thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks. Hey, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
We can always tell how old people are by how long they take to hit the exit or end call.
Oh, stop.
That's it.
It takes me a while, man.
Chris, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys? Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. Just chilling. Got a little better angle on you this time.
Yeah, sorry about that. I did not mean to even log on. I was just making sure I had the link in the right spot.
It's okay. It is not the first time that happened.
It's par for the course. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Too many things going on at once.
All the time. So.
And then you throw time zones in there, and I get all whacked up.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll take that one.
You're based in Arizona, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What area? Which part?
We're in Phoenix.
Oh, you're in Phoenix. Nice.
Yeah, we're in the hot desert.
That's all I can say is hot. So tell me about Hempful. Tell me about Hempful Farms and how it all started and little background on that.
Yeah, that's a long, drawn-out story. I don't know if you have enough time, but we started an edible.
Okay, well, just give us a
encapsulate it for us.
Yeah, no problem. I started an edible company in 2010 out here called Zonka Bars. I had been doing the caregiver network stuff here because we passed medical in 10, but we didn't get a dispensary until 2013. So we had a bunch of card holders running around trying to figure out where to get meds and a couple quasi grows. But other than that, there wasn't a lot other than bringing stuff in from other states. So we thought it was a perfect time to take advantage of being able to, grow and produce a product. And it went well for a couple of years, and then we got rated for it. I was looking at over 100 years for candy bars, and it was really dumb. They just tried to make a media case out of it. But while I was fighting my case, almost 3.5 years, you kind of, you go through all these desperations and feelings of how am I going to take care of my family? And we converted all of our products that we did from cannabis and Zonka and converted it to hemp. And within a matter of 6 months, we had opened up Arizona's first hemp-infused restaurant and retail store. And the pet line came because I had a dog that got sick. And my 6-year-old son happened to be in the raid when all the trouble happened. He had gone through some PTSD. He didn't want to go back to public school. Everything scared him. But he found a lot of solstice in making YouTube videos. Even at that little age, he would run around and sing songs to the dog and video himself. Well, one day he made a dog treat out of a cookie. He just took a chocolate chip cookie dough, shaped it into a dog bone, and tried to poke a hole in it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I want to make biscuits for the dog so he'll feel better. And I said, well, they can't be chocolate chip. We can't do that one. But we could do a cookie. I said, but what's the hole for it? And he said, well, we can put tincture in there. We can put his medicine, his capsules in there. I was like, what? And flash forward, 10 years now, we have 4 retail stores. And out of 60 products that we make, my top 8 are pet products.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier in the show is people are way more consistent about buying a product that works for their dog than themselves. You know what I mean? Because people are just lame like that. Like they're like, hey, it worked, but fuck, there's a new flavor on the block. You know what I mean? But if you're with your dog and your dog likes the product and it works, then you're probably pretty much got a customer for life there. You know?
I've watched customers leave their kid in the car and bring their dog in for a treat. Like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely more like. So your kid, so your son now is like 13 or 14 or something.
Yeah, he's 16 now. He's he'll be 16 in September.
He's the director of research and development.
I never want to make a dog treat again. No. He's totally over it. His hard work thing sucks for him. No, he has created a few more product lines. He's so in love with helping dogs and being a part of it. I think we created a monster now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have a 9-year-old, so I'm sitting in his studio right now in his YouTube studio doing the show. So I know I get you 100%.
That's funny. I just threw my banner up over his real quick too.
There you go, taking over our kids' studio spaces. So you guys started. So your farm. How big is your farm, and how or you have a few now, or?
Yeah, we're linked with a couple different farms. So because of my case and my weird way of getting into, I guess, the industry, we were on a show called The Marijuana Show back on season 2, which would have been like 2012, 2013. And we pitched our brand almost like a Shark Tank style show where we pitched the idea of the product and getting it into big box store or even dispensary. And the whole background of the show is supposed to be about entrepreneurship and how hard it is to get into the industry or how you do it or whatever. And once they heard about kind of everything we had going on the other side of business, they really jumped into support, and they turned it all about bad laws and what's happening to families over those bad laws. So they completely supported it. And then they helped out with the pet line too. So their farm is Cloudco Farms out of Colorado, and that's who they linked us with on the show. That farm was actually up there pitching their stuff. So we started our business with them. Then they helped us get into doing some farming of our own. We've got a few acres that we planted in Kansas, where I'm from, my hometown. In New Mexico, and now out here in Arizona. So we've kind of danced all over, just trying to plant our seeds everywhere and get it out there. And it really just essentially helped us keep control of our biomass costs and help put plants in the ground in states that didn't have it before.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm sure for you to do it in Kansas must have been like big smile seeing that grow there, because there's very little. I mean, how much hemp is really grown in Kansas at the moment?
Now there's quite a bit. They've got good farms. They've got a great department that's actually really open to it. But I can tell you, I grew up there until I was 18, and you didn't want to get caught with weed, much less hemp there. You get the same sentence regardless. So to see it, taking baby steps and now growing plants there, and just to be a small part of that was, for my family, it was life changing, really.
That's awesome. So you guys sell online direct and to shops, or is that the program?
Yeah, we do online, we do wholesale, we do white label, we do all kinds of stuff. Okay. We do white label for a couple bigger companies, but then we do mainly wholesale and online business here.
You ship to Canada, or I guess you can't.
Good thing too, because
I will ship to Canada. It's expensive, but I'll get it to you.
No, I'm thinking maybe they don't let U.S. CBD come in.
No, I think we've had trouble at customs every time we try to get to Canada.
Canada is a bitch, that's for sure. They definitely hold a lot of resentment towards America. So every time you come in with anything, any issue, they're like drunk driving from 20 years ago, turn you around. You know what I mean? You're like, what? So yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about how that. So the Zonka case that you had, similar to, remember Mickey Martin, right? Remember his?
Yeah, I do.
Remember Mickey Martin?
Fuck Mickey.
Exactly. Rest in peace, Mick. But he had a similar situation as far as, the media taking it totally at it's all save the children and all that bullshit. What was the end? So in the end, after all 3.5 years, how did the verdict work out? What was the?
My case got interesting. I was a member of a veteran motorcycle club, so my case got glorified in the media as RICO and gang charges and all this just stuff that wasn't true. My club did charity events and what most normal clubs do. They help people out and they take care of each other and their families. But because we put those patches on, it gave the police the right to charge us as gang members. What we didn't know was that all the police that raided me, they were all in a gang. They were all in a police motorcycle club. So instead of me hiring a lawyer or spending all this money on a defense team that I know is probably related to the judge of the small town anyway, I put my money towards a private investigator. And the private investigator dug up so much dirt. These guys were all on the Brady list. They had lied to the grand jury. They had planted evidence in the past. There was so much dirt. And then on top of it, they were in a club, not only a motorcycle club, but a club that beat up one of my members on camera in a bar 6 months after my raid. So their whole story of calling me a gang member and a drug dealer just pretty much blew up in their face. I presented the video to court, and they dropped every charge but 2 of them, and it went from 127 years to a 2-year plea bargain.
Whew.
Right. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That's, you get RICO involved, you get a RICO act or something, you're done. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, that's amazing. That's always amazing to hear people win like that and doing it smart too. Because, like you said, if it was anybody local, you'd have been fucked. They would have just railroaded you right through the whole thing.
The only thing that saved me was the private investigator. That was really the only thing that saved the case, and the fact that we weren't doing anything wrong. The fact that it was a really crappy law. It didn't have. We were making chocolates. We made candy. We made edibles.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything different than anyone's done for years, but I was charged with 13 narcotics charges. That's just how they tried to do it. Luckily, we got the attention of the public. We had great groups like Freedom Grow Forever and Human Solution and, all kinds of activists that came and helped us out. And I produced a book and a movie. There's a documentary out on Amazon Prime right now called Haters Make Me Famous. And I only called it that because nobody knew who we were. We were just small family making edibles out of their personal grow. And next thing I know, I'm on the front page as the Munchies syndicate leader.
Oh, that's so fucked.
So it's on Netflix now. It's on Netflix right now.
Not on Netflix yet. We are on Amazon Prime. We're on Tubi and Plex.
Amazon, sorry.
Yeah, we're trying. If we get enough reviews and enough people keep seeing it and liking it and sharing it, then hopefully we'll hit some more platforms.
And what's the name of it again, so Mark can put it up when he's done rolling his joint?
Oh yeah. It's called Haters Make Me Famous. Haters. And it's produced by GCM Media. They're a local group out here in Arizona. They did a great job. They produced my book. I wrote a book while I was down. I didn't know if I was coming home, so I wanted to write a book to my kids, just tell them, hey, I'm not a drug dealing gangbanger like the media said I am. Who I am. And the book got picked up, and that's how the movie happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Who plays you?
That's some serious serious positive stuff coming out of a negative thing because,
Well, I'm wondering, Adam, who do you think would be playing him? I'm thinking it's like new Tony Soprano's kid. What's his name? Gandolfini's son, right?
Nice.
I think he could play
boy.
you. Yeah, his boy. What do you?
That'd be good.
All right. Look, we'll make that happen. Adam knows people.
Make a call.
Oh, there we go. We have it up on the show at the moment. Haters
there
make
should
me
be
famous.
a trailer up there. I think they even did a trailer. The quality is great. I've watched worse quality stuff on Netflix, so they did a great job. And we tried not to make it a poor me story or screw the cops. I wasn't trying to be a blame game. I just wanted people to pay attention to how bad these laws are written and how easily you can get caught up in it.
That's awesome.
Right. I wonder how they're going to feel when that. It'll be interesting to see how the cops are feeling about this. What happened to them in the end? Did any of them get?
They all got fired.
Investigated from any of the stuff that was pulled up by your.
Yeah, they all got fired. They hated me. I had to relocate 3 hours away, and it was. I did 12 years of paper out here afterwards, so it was interesting. I just kept my head down, and honestly, I went as public as I could, just saying, "Hey, look, hello, we're not doing anything wrong. People have been doing this for years. Like, relax a little bit." So, honestly, it seems to have worked in our favor. We just keep opening up stores and writing books and explaining to people. And honestly, for every dog that feels better, 10 more people hear about it and come hear the story, and it kind of propels itself now. For sure.
Well, tell me about Paw Putty pet products also. Is that a separate new thing you guys are up to?
Paw Putty is the pet line, but we haven't extended our line. We just added 3 more chews. We have a mobility chew. We've got a bunch of new tinctures and stuff that we've added under the brand.
And so what are the chances that if somebody went to...
CBD, any other cannabinoids?
Yeah, they're full spectrum. So they have everything in them. We have full terpene profiles on them. We add things like glucosamine. We'll add things like turmeric. We'll add things like, what else did we just do? We just did a chondroitin one for a senior pet. We've got a couple different formulations that we've worked on over the last 10 years that have just taken off when it comes to the older dog. I have an 11-year-old Rottweiler who's blind and diabetic. So that dog is only alive because of his insulin and because of CBD. I swear it.
For sure.
We're all in agreement here. It saved my pet's life too.
Well, that's awesome. And then, so about how many stores do you sell to, or do you guys have what's your numbers on that? I know you have your own spots, but do you sell to other stuff?
Yeah,
do you sell to other people?
Absolutely, we wholesale across the country. I white label across the country. I'd say we're in about 300 stores nationally right now. Our last bid is really big box. We have not gone into big box, and that's just kind of been at my own choice. I just kind of like having the control over the manufacturing and the SOP and knowing what's going in it. And I haven't gone to that stage yet. We've had some offers, but they just haven't fit yet.
Yeah, and it's tough to keep your quality control once you get to that. All of a sudden, you start getting them taking all your stock, and your people that you built you up are left out in the cold, and they're like, "What's the?" And then they can go cheaper because they do bigger volume. Yeah. It just fucks your whole program up sometimes. Yeah. Definitely, if you're, 300 stores is a lot to keep up with, I'm sure, and just have a life outside of that, right? You want to have a good quality of life too. So, it's like can't all be just grinding, but sometimes 90% grinding.
Right. No, you're right, and we just we want to keep that small business feel. We want to keep that family approach. We've always had that. People respect and love that, and honestly, it's how we organically grew it to where we are today. Was keeping that model. yeah, I'd love access for everyone to be able to get the product, but I feel like we kind of offer that now, and some people are even willing to wait if it takes a little longer to get their order done. So.
Right. So, I guess pandemic-wise, a lot of shows shut down and stuff. But did you do a lot of them, like the major pet shows that are just like strictly pet?
Yeah, we do a lot of the shows. We do a lot of the local stuff. We're big on rescues. We have a big event down here, Day of the Dog, that we do, Phoenix Dog Days. We do lots of pet shows down here. We have a new one coming up here just in October. Day of the Dog's coming back here. We'll be there. We do expedition where I'll show them how to make dog biscuits right there, how to do them at home. So we try to just get out in the local market as much as we can, and abroad when we can too.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Like all of us when we can, but lately not so good. Not so much.
No, not at all.
So is there one pet product you really like? Tell us about the one dog pet product. What's that flagship product that everyone's going to want to go order so that I can lead into? And if they enter Dunn Deal on your website, will the fans of the show get a discount? And if they get a discount, what will that discount be?
We already got it all set up for you guys.
Dave.
We knew it was coming. We were planning for it. So actually, we would say the chews. The chews are the biscuits. Any type of the treat. The dogs love the treats. Like the oils work the best. The tinctures are probably our top seller. But the dog will tell you they like the treats the best. So we do a biscuit that's just like a cookie, an apple cinnamon cookie. And then we do chews, meat chews, bacon chews, or veggie chews. And we can't keep them on the shelf. So if they do put in the Dunn Deals on our website, they'll receive a 25% off.
See, if Mark were sitting at the board right now, he'd be hitting buttons because this would be in a very important time for the producer to hit something like that. And that's he just showed up. He was in the living room smoking a joint with Katie. And
terrible.
Yeah, terrible production value. 25% off.
Missed the Dunn Deal.
25, but only 20 for Mark,
That's
right?
As big as this shit.
Only 20 for Mark.
Yeah. Wow. What's Tommy going to do when he hears that somebody matched his Dunn Deal? Do you think he'll go 30%?
I know. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. We'll get him up there. That's awesome.
We'll have Dunn Deal envy.
There you go. Dunn Deal.
Oh, that's awesome. What's the website again so Mark can put it up on the board since he's really fallen behind?
Exactly.
Go to hempfulfarms.com.
Hempfulfarms.com.
Hempfulfarms.com and look up the pet section.
Oh, there's thousands going there right now. Mark just might crash your server.
Yes.
Server crash.
Yep.
No, it's great.
I'll be here all weekend making dog treats now.
Sweet. I want that to happen. What about cats?
We do cat treats too. We have cat oils.
What about
your cat oils?
Hippopotamus?
I will feed it to anything.
Well, we do have somebody in the chat gang that has a hippopotamus. So
hey, we'll just make a really big.
A lot of CBDs.
That's a lot of CBDs.
300 pounds a day, he said.
Throw it.
I'll just make them a sheet cake.
Okay, deal.
There you go. Here you go.
Oh, we have your website up right now.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
What are we looking at there? Oh, chews. Those are all chews. Tincture, oil, calming. Damn. How many SKUs do you have?
There's bundles.
A ton. We just added I think 8 more SKUs or 10 more SKUs to the pet line.
You know,
I think now we're about 60.
So I wanted this to be
wow.
I didn't want to influence anyone coming on the show, so I went on LinkedIn. I have a pretty good following out there, or connections, and I put out to the community. I said, listen, we really want to do a show on CBD pets and wellness and products. And instantly the first comment in there was, you got to get in touch with Hempful Farms. So, so it worked out really well, and it was the first doctor that was recommended to us was right on before you. So I think I'm batting okay. Mark's going to give me a bonus in my we don't get a bonus today because Adam's not here in the studio to give us our herb to take home. So and Mark's giving me the finger. There's nobody else here to scold him. I just see it. He's getting away with it. Adam's not here. Adam would normally go do that more, but he's not here, so he can't encourage him. It's off the rails. Yeah, off the rails. 25% off. Come on, that's awesome.
We found out some pretty good news about our Paw Putty line here in Arizona, but that we've been added to Banfield and their list of providers for their pet hospitals. And we didn't even have a meeting. We had no idea. We had a customer come in last week and had their script print out from Banfield, and we were the number one store listed on their resource list as a referral shop, which I mentioned that because 9 years ago when all this started, we couldn't get a veterinarian to back us. We got called snake oil salesmen, and you can't fix dogs with that. And it was amazing. And now, 9 years later, we're the number one referred product line for Banfield hospitals here in Arizona.
Oh man, that would be something where Mark would push buttons.
So you're like success story? No, Mark's sleeping on the wheel.
What are you talking about?
That's amazing. That's really amazing.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
There it is.
Now we're talking.
Now it is.
No, you really are definitely doing big things, and it seems like you're getting success after success, which is great because when you get kicked in the nuts like you did, it's definitely great to come back and prove everybody wrong and show, like you did it ultimately. I mean, you proved the people who tried to fuck you over wrong, and then you proved the vets that they were wrong. You proved all around them. So congrats on all that. Impressive.
Really. We have a great team here, and my family's phenomenal. I couldn't have done it without them.
Chris, are you managing all your own cultivation? Or is
Currently,
it just
no.
Okay?
Currently, I'm not. I was managing a grow for a partner here, and you know how those stories always go. Someone doesn't get the good end of the deal.
Oh,
yeah. I built
it. We know that story.
Yeah, I built it, brought my team and the whole jazz, and walked out with nothing. That's how it goes.
Do you? I got to imagine you have enough clout right now.
Story of our lives.
I got to imagine you have enough clout when you're buying on the market that can you influence the grower or sort of recommend to them the strains they grow that produce cannabinoids that are more receptive with terpene profile for pets? And if so, what gear is that?
We talk about that quite a bit. And without getting a verbal response, it makes it a lot tougher. You have to be a lot more keen to what's going on in the animal and what's happening. And honestly, I've had to partner with these vets on a lot of situations because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a clinical studied or, someone who's been to college to do a lot of the things the doctors do. But we also know plant medicine just based on what we've done for 26 years at home and how we've helped each other and ourselves. So terpenes to me are probably 50% of what we do versus just plant strain. It's different with hemp for me just because we're still learning so much more about hemp strains than cannabis, and not all dogs respond to cannabis at all. So I don't use a lot of THC product or THC content with pets at all. But when I see toxicity happen, over and over, I avoid it. So hemp strains are a little bit harder to identify, especially on a terp profile when it comes to pet products, just because I don't have that verbal response. I don't have that, oh yeah, that worked, thanks. My neck doesn't hurt anymore.
Well, unless the terps are like bacon terps or something like bacon terps. You're like, it's going to work. That's going to work well.
Well, wait, you might be onto something, Adam. That you got to let pigs roam your garden, or fertilize it with pig shit, and maybe that'll provide bacon terps. But Rosin Dogs actually can tell if it's working on his dog because he says his dog doesn't lick his balls as much. And he meant his dog's balls, not his own balls. So, yeah. Just wanted to clarify that, just lest anyone think anything different of him in the chat gang when he said that. I wanted to clarify, Rosin. I'm on your side. I just wanted to make sure they knew it was your dog's licking his own balls and it has nothing to do with yours. Good. Glad we got that out of the way.
I figured it was licking his balls.
I didn't want to say it, man. Come on. Tim. Oh, come on. You had to go there. There's a delay here, so I'm trying not to step, and then fucking you go and open up that can of worms.
I wondered what the peanut butter was for.
Oh.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, we have a peanut butter sponsor that does CBD and THC. You guys could do a collab for peanut butter because dogs and dogs and peanut butter are down.
Yeah, but I'm hearing, and I'm hoping it's bullshit that peanut butter is not, the best for dogs that we always thought. And I'm not stopping until somebody shows me some veterinary clinical
we only
paper.
thought it was fun to watch.
Right?
Nobody ever thought it was good for him. Everybody just knew that it was funny to watch your dog go nah 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 for like 20 minutes while you all got stoned and laughed at him. That's what we used to do.
See, now you're gonna make me go home and mess with my blind diabetic Rottweiler.
No, yeah. Well, listen, blind diabetic Rottweiler, you can let him have as much fun as he wants. He should not want for anything until, the end. It should all be fucking peanut butter dog bones and CBD. Prime rib. Yes. Yeah. Mark's shaking his head too. He's like, he wants a prime rib. Adam doesn't give him any prime rib.
No, man.
Yeah. Mark's still on Adam's kibble.
No prime ribs here.
No. Kibble.
Well, that's awesome.
What about pet food?
And again,
do you guys have pet food, or is it just like I saw you have treats and you're adding things? But are you thinking maybe a pet food line that you can infuse?
We have been talking with the company about producing a pet treat, a dog food line. Probably about 6 months out.
Well, I feel bad after Dr. Rob was on. Now I know I'm feeding my dog the wrong thing because I give him the Costco salmon kibble with one raw egg mixed into it with a tiny little bit of warm water. And she loves it. And I give it twice a day. And she's not overweight. She's doing great. But now I'm like, fuck. Am I going to make her sick inside? And I don't even really know it. And so now I want to
it's just so hard.
her.
With all these processed foods out there, all the crap they put in it, it's just impossible. Unless you make their food, it's almost impossible to know what they're getting.
Well, Adam's going to start feeding hemp and cannabis to his chickens, so I'm going to feed his chickens to my dog. So maybe that will work pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll be like a turducken. It'll be like a turducken of CBD. CBD turducken.
Trust smoking.
Just let him loose in the yard once a week.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, I dig it, man. 25. I see. I can't get off this. I know everyone's like, get off. Don't stay on the fucking deal. But I like that. I'm going to go to your page and find some stuff, some yummy stuff for my dog.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to send you some stuff.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. I was going to go buy some. But yes, we send it to Mark Perez.
Send it.
Done deal.
No, that's great. Done deal. There we go. Cool. I think we got to still do our sponsor shout outs at the end of the show and stuff. So I think we're going to let you go. Cool. But it's been awesome. I'm super impressed on all the things you've done and how you've turned and how you, I can tell you've been someone forever, which is like a lot of people who listen to the show, but not everybody can turn it around like that. So congrats, because that's an amazing feat.
And I just want to point out, we haven't had a guest on the show that's had a beard longer than Adam's in a long, long time. And I know we can't really see him because of the bad connection, but he's got beard envy. I'm pretty sure of that. So
No, mine's more fluffy. Mine goes out. He's got a streamlined job there.
I had to
you can tell he takes care. I don't take care of mine as well.
I was looking like Charles Manson. I had to chop that shit down.
I have to go.
This is all prison.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell this is.
It happens to the best of us.
Right.
That's where it starts to go.
The only
first.
thing I really wanted to say is if you guys get a chance to check out our nonprofit, we did found a nonprofit when I was in prison called ZonkaMiles.org. And what we do is we write inmates that are doing time for pot. I put money on their books. I sell their hobby craft and all their artwork, and I put the money on their book for them. I just kind of help keep them.
That's awesome.
Can you say the website again?
What's the website?
Once again,
say the website again. Zonka Miles.
Zonka, ZONKA, just like my edible brand. Zonka Miles, MILES.org.
Got it.
Shout out to Miles Felipe. Weed should taste good.
Thank you.
That's awesome because you really things like that always create so much more positive things for yourself, and that's probably part of your success right there. You know what I mean? Just give back whenever you can, because or pay forward is even better. You know what I mean? That's always best. So, but good job on that, and we'll definitely check that out. Hopefully we'll cross paths soon enough. If I get to Arizona, I'll come check you out. If you come to Colorado, you should come hang out with us in the studio too.
Please, if you're ever in the Denver area.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Oh, he's young. You can tell. He got right off. Bing. Young
but damn, well, he's going from interview to interview. Sure. Cool stories, man. That guy he did some crazy shit, which was I'm quite impressed.
Everybody's got to buy his movie.
If you got your movie on Amazon about your shit, you definitely and you wrote a book, and good on him. Like I said, turned that shit around.
Absolutely.
And 60 products. That's some serious hemp products right there. Yeah. I thought it was like an 8 or 9, but it's like 60. Jeez.
No, I had more than just a single person tell me to
get that done.
Get
that done deal, 25% off. That's awesome too. As big of a done deal as fish shit. Amazing. Yeah. So let's.
Maybe we'll have to get fish at 26%.
Guys.
New Millennium Nutrients.
NewMillenniumNutrients.com.
New Millennium Nutrients. Check out NewMillenniumNutrients.com if you want to get access to some of the easiest to use, highly productive product line. Thing I like about them is it's super easy to use. Funny, I'm doing a round with the other product now, and I definitely have to learn all over again, because once you dial into this, you realize it's like, oh wow, this is a complete formula. But you can also use them parts. You don't have to use the whole formula. You can just use individuals, and it works well with other products. So you go to NewMillenniumNutrients.com. You tell them you want that done deal, or you can go to the store finder and find it locally if it happens to be there.
Sweet, good product.
Build a soil.
No. Is it build? No, I think it's medically correct.
Medically correct.
No, Incredibles.
Incredibles. So I posted this online this week. You saw it. I tried a small bag, 100 milligrams of the new quick extracts or quick rapid effect gummies. It says it had some verbiage on it, and so I gave it a shot. My normal edible dose is 50 milligrams, and I feel really good. I ate 20 milligrams. It took 20 minutes to come on, and it felt like one of these Vinnie chocolates that really got into my head. So it kind of hit me almost like a 50 milligram. So if you haven't tried it yet, it's the Quick Effect gummies. That you can find them at all the dispensaries across Colorado. They're from the makers of True Pure CBD, Clear Creek Extracts, Incredibles edibles, and Nove luxury chocolates, which are on fire right now. You can find them everywhere as well. You got to try these. The chocolate is fantastic. You'd eat it even if it wasn't medicated. So you can also go to truepura.com. That's where the Done Deal is. You enter Done Deal at checkout, and you get 20% off your order.
Human CBD.
Which is really
Human
like a
CBD.
small Done Deal discount right now. Now that Hempful Farms and Fish Shit are doing 25%. Maybe we can talk to them for more. But thank you, guys. I'm telling you, try that quick effect gummy. You really will enjoy it. I want more. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Apothecary Extracts, now in Oklahoma.
Wait.
That's what you put up. Oh, sorry.
Where'd you get Apothecary?
I saw the wrong logo in my head.
Whoa.
It's Vinny's fault, man.
Dude,
God
Vinnie
damn
got
it.
him all dosed up, man.
Green Farms Med in Colorado Springs. If you need your medical card, make sure you call Joe Cohen, Holos Health, or Dr. Mark Bronstein, Reconscious Medical.
I got some news. Sage and sour on the menu coming up right there.
Ooh, that's a nugget.
But coming soon.
That's not a nugget. You don't get to call nuggets.
Why not a nugget? That's a nugget. He's talking about something coming up.
No,
I'll give it a horn or something.
Okay, how about a horn? Some type of sound
Remember,
effect.
you don't get nuggets.
Somebody mute Mark's microphone.
you are not the nugget guy.
Yeah, Adam calls the nuggets.
Oh, Adam calls them.
he didn't-
Okay. You can get a discount getting your med card. You got to get your med card. You got to go shop at Green Farms Med. You can ask for the Done Deal, and you're going to wind up with it's a tremendous. It might even be more than 25%. So JW, remind us of what that actual discount is, but it could be more than.
I remember it being 10, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
I'm not sure.
you know. What would be
26.
great just to go down there
If
to
you want to
ask.
be, if you want to be top dog, it's 26% right there. 26%.
That's all you need. Try the country fruit rosin.
Definitely.
No, you go. Definitely what?
Yeah, and the flat brainer. The flat brainer. That's also a really good strain he's got going on right now.
Perp Rider. I got some of that right
Getting rave
here.
reviews.
Can you see it, Mark? Which camera?
Right there. I mean, you're little.
Oh, I'm a tiny.
You're tiny.
But you got to
You're
try
tiny.
Perp Rider.
You-
It smells
You're
purple.
you're like a micro penis right now.
Bum. How's that for a nugget? No, I can't call it a nugget.
No, you can call it. You can't call it a nugget.
Rim shot simple crush?
You can do.
There you go. I lost the chat thing too.
Just getting
But
sloppy.
Green Farms Med that's where you can get the Done Deal on Incredibles edibles. So you go down there, you ask for the Done Deal. They have Incredibles on the shelf. They have their own rosin and tons of organic flour.
And not only that, but he's growing no-till, 100% organic, and he gets all of his product from where?
Build
Guess
a
where?
soil. Oh, you mean in regard?
Yes, sir.
But he gets your gear too,
Yeah.
so they'll
We're
be
gonna
on
do
the
that.
shelf. Buildasoil.com, 855-877-SOIL.
Wow, look at you all grown up and
Yeah, you
sitting in my
remember?
seat telling the world that number. Oh, I remember you were all impressed.
You
How
remember the
impressed
phone
Dave,
number.
I remember the number without looking at it. And he was like, wow, pretty impressive. I was like, I got
Impressive.
skills, man. I got skills. And now you're
Most
you're there.
impressive.
You're there, young grasshopper.
I'm here.
So,
Padawan.
yeah. If you go to buildasoil.com, and check out their product line, you'll notice that it is unlike any other grow shop or company that you see out there, because he's only specializing in the best of the best in organic inputs and IPM products, and they're all vetted and all done, tested by his own crew in-house. They do test side-by-side, educational grows. Jeremy's a wealth of knowledge. You can go to a couple of our old shows. He's been on the show plenty of times. Haven't had him on the show for a long ass time, but he's so busy, that's why. But in general, build.com if you want the best in organic inputs like that. And
Ozo
What's
Coffee.
going on now? What are we doing?
OzoCoffee.com.
They sponsored our whole trip, man. We made Ozo the whole trip, and it was really good.
Oh, you brought Ozo on the road?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Nice. Did you have it instant, or you actually pour over and made yourself coffee?
We brought a coffee maker with us.
Good for you. Yeah. Mark's hooked. Remember when years ago he didn't even drink coffee? He'd be like, I don't drink coffee. I don't need it. He'd just have a Coke. And
I'll probably go back to that.
I drink Pepsi. I just drink.
Oh yeah.
You drink Pepsi? That's poison.
What?
Pepsi, Coke, all that crap. Don't drink that shit. OzoCoffee.com. They gave us some great flavors, which I gave to Adam. Sorry, Mark. You really have to go to their website and take a look. They have a lot of new single strains going on. Go back to that one. I just tried that one.
Cabingo
honey process. I'm a big fan of the Mocha Java. I wish I knew what bean that was.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's
I really like that one. And then they have these Burundi. Right? The Burundi. Keep going down. You got to get on the subscription like Rosin Dogs. Do like Rosin Dogs, okay? Get that dried process.
Don't be like you. Yeah. Exactly. Get a hippo and get subscription to Ozo Coffee.
Yeah.
You like Rosin Dogs.
Absolutely.
But yeah, their Ozo Coffee is also roasted in-house here in Colorado. So beans come in green, get roasted on site. You know, it's about as hipster as you can get, pretty much, right? It's like straight up proper hipster. Artesian hipster
amazing, proper.
Amazing quality, proper. Exactly. If we were only in Seattle, it's in Boulder, so it's about as good as good too. So, but yeah, awesome product, and we had him on the show also at one point. So you can go back and listen to that, get the background on the coffee on that episode if you want. Cool. And now,
thank you guys.
Tresor,
Barcelona.
There we go.
30 euros off. Barcelona.
You get a free entry. You get a free membership if you mention the Dunn deal. So super great deal. Unfortunately, it's in Barcelona, and most of us can't get there at this point in time. But soon come. And if you happen to be there, if you're living in Barcelona or you're there visiting, definitely stop by. Ask for the Dunn deal, get the free entry, and get yourself some super high quality cannabis, hash, coffee, vibes. Petey's super cool. They have great art, some of the best in street art, adorning the entire place. So it's definitely a good spot to go check out if you're in Barcelona.
You had a great frozen.
What are you laughing at?
I was laughing at your frozen picture on there. It was like this. You were like. It was just frozen. So we still heard you, but it was a frozen photo. You'll have to go back and watch it on tape.
Yeah.
Thank you, Petey.
I will.
Tresor, Barcelona. What's next? Now Apothecary. Yeah, Dave. It's now. It's not Green Farms. Way off. I was like 2 or 3 off.
Adam missed on some good batters this week. We got some.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. We have to smoke
banana.
Oh, I got some bangers.
Yeah.
Honey banana, grape cola.
Oh, yeah, grape cola. Yeah.
And I got 2 grape colas.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah. Oh, you must have got the good. What did you get? You got the good stuff. You have super sweetie fruity tooty.
I hooked up Team Warped.
Oh, you're such a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
Because you were so high and had to eat a second chocolate.
Well, he gave me he gave me like.
He's a
I
good
still have
guy.
half of a chocolate bar here.
Look at him slurring. Apothecary Extracts, Apothecary Farms. They have 3 locations, one in Denver, one in Pueblo, and one in Colorado Springs.
Now you're sounding like, you guys are starting to sound like me.
It's possible.
Mark sounds like me at the fucking cathedral.
You mean when you forgot that we ate 50 milligrams of Canyon Poppet? Yeah. And you told the story about how high you get when you forget that you took edibles, and it was actually happening to you in that moment, and nobody was grasping the reality of that. I know. Look, I got to tell you something.
The irony of it all.
I tried Apothecary's. I guess they're BHO pens.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're really fucking good, man. I mean, really, really good.
Yep.
I mean, smooth and potent, and they're all strain specific, which is fantastic.
They're at a good price point. They're not these like gastronomic prices for those like other pens. You know what I mean? They're like,
how much are they?
They're what?
The pens
At Apothecary?
Yeah.
They range between 25 and 30.
That's a deal. Yeah. That's a done deal. And think if you ask for the done deal, we you know what? We need to talk to Brent, see if we can expand the done deal on like maybe change it up a little bit. Get the pens included, get some rosins included. But they're crushing it. They're everywhere right now in Oklahoma. I'm seeing their Instagram feed right now. Feedback is amazing. Like he said when he was on the show last, they're in about 200 dispensaries here in Colorado, plus their 3 flagship stores. And I've had the pleasure of going into their store recently, and they've got like 60, 80 strains you can choose from. Batter, ambrosia.
That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, they're the shit right now. So please head over to Apothecary Extracts and in Colorado or in Oklahoma, and probably soon to be everywhere. I mean, if you're smart and you're an emerging state,
they're working on a 3rd Oklahoma location.
Yeah, you should reach out to Brent, and they know their shit. There's no sense reinventing the wheel. That's your partner. You give him a call. Thank you, guys. What's next?
Vinnie put opium in the chocolates.
They don't? Oh, Vinnie put opium in the chocolates. Who said that? Don't say that.
Mike Denver.
Well, look what I got right here. Papa's Select.
Oh, yeah.
Bam. It is
look at
monkey bear. I saved mine. When I say saved it, I mean I put it in the fridge and forgot it was
Mark,
in there.
you could have had it. Mark could have had it. Mark could have had a whole.
I know. You guys could have linked me up. You could have told me that I was going to be around there.
Fucking scored.
Why didn't you go? I mean, you drove past it. What? No, there's two. You made 2 mistakes. You drove past it, and then you told us about it.
It was like 7 in the morning or something like that.
You should have waited.
Yeah.
Just like sat in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Just waiting.
Yeah. You should have just said, I'll be the first customer.
I'm first in.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I would have.
Would have been good footage.
Hey, I'm Mark. And they'd be like,
who?
Great.
Get the hell out of here.
I know someone who knows Boris. Would you tell him I'm here? So
he was supposed to be on our show 5 times.
Well, he's going to be now. Technically, he's supposed to be on 6 times because we'll have him on sometime in the future, and he'll miss it. So, but Papa Select has a lounge, which we know now is where.
On the 101?
On the 101.
Yeah.
Where on the 101?
It's south of Eureka.
Nice.
That's
south of Eureka.
And near Eureka?
It's south of it.
Okay, perfect. So if you're near Eureka and you want to go check out the lounge and tell us how it is, because we could have had it for eyewitness, awesome report with the video, like Bonnie and you getting high, chilling out. They have a spa, Mark. Why didn't you fucking stop?
Yeah.
And stay and say, we're going to go hit the spa. Oh, God, you messed up.
He might not be telling us all of the story. He might have said, I would like to stop there, Bonnie. We need to wait in the parking lot 3 hours. And Bonnie went, no, we will not. We must drive. And he listened because he didn't want to die.
I forgot about the spa. I would
That's okay. The spa didn't open until noon.
Oh.
So you'd have been there a while. It's 7 o'clock.
I see.
Papa Select makes amazing. This is, God, I can't even read it. Monkey Berries Premium Live Rosin.
Very tasty.
Very tasty and very aromatic, even after being in my refrigerator for 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, really aromatic.
At first, it was all clear, and then it was all like that.
Yeah, now, because I fucked it up, right?
Well, no. That's just how it goes.
That's what you're trying to say? It's older.
Anyways.
But it's really good. It's matured.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Boris.
You buttered it out, basically.
Yeah.
I buttered it out.
Yeah, look at you.
You're the butter.
Butterer.
You fucking Dave buttered it up.
Dave buttered
fucking
it.
Dave.
Fucking Dave.
Speaking of butter.
Speaking of butter.
Numb nuts.
No segue.
Oh.
Fucking Mark. Earning the edibles must be wearing off.
Hold on.
Oh, I get a horn. Oh, he gave himself a horn.
Yeah, I'm a horny.
So I sent you the list of dispensaries where you can find Numbnuts THC mark. Do you still have that? Because I sent it to you ahead of time so that you would have it.
Yeah, I have it.
And so instead of us going, they're in 2 or 3, we'd go, you know what? They're in like 25 dispensaries, medical dispensaries in Colorado. So you can go to Numbnuts.
THC, but what about the CBD though?
That's sold through their mail. It's sold through their mail order. So you go to numbnutsco.com and you shop right there, and it gets mailed to you.
Ooh,
anywhere
I got it
you
right
are.
Here, dude. Zen Gold's Foco, Zen Gold's Lion, Peaceful Choice, Rhino Supply, Boulder Wellness, Peaceful Choice. Oh wait, you just copied a bunch of the same ones. Reefer Madness.
They're probably in different
Boulder,
cities.
Cannabicare, Grow Life.
Why don't you just tell us how many there are?
Weedery Palisade, Standing Akimbo, Higher
He's
Grade.
already doing it. Let him go.
Right.
Oh, he's getting quieter. He's getting quieter like me. Doing the quiet.
No, I was just concentrating.
So they're in like 30 dispensaries, medical dispensaries. You need your med card. It is fire peanut butter.
Concentrating.
Yeah.
Oh,
Concentrate
goodness.
to read. All right, nuts. That's you can get them at all those stores I just read.
That's right.
Mark,
Oh, you're so high.
What?
what?
Have a bagel. A cup of coffee or something.
You just said you can get them all at the
The stuff I just read.
You didn't need to make.
Stop it. You guys are crazy.
Wow.
Give yourself a horn,
funny.
Mark.
Oh, well, Dave was going to bring me a Nozo, and then he didn't. So,
I drank it.
Yeah, good job, dude. Anyways,
on
to 14er Boulder, probably where he drank his Ozo
Cocksucker.
in the parking lot at.
Cocksucker.
Cocksucker.
14er Boulder.
14erboulder.com.
Yeah, tell us about.
Place your pre-order online. Show up. Just flash your ID. Come in and pick up your bag. In and out. Ba-bing. Their flour is amazing. The rosin is fantastic. They use Apothecary to make their ambrosia. They have amazing rosin and live resin pods. Whoa, look at that. I got the horn there.
Wow.
They're doing some spectacular things. They probably have 30 strains available right now. Give them a try. If you live in Boulder, you really want to try 14er. It is top shelf. And yes, one of the strains has my face on it.
How many tops is that?
It's 20 tops. And it's a really good strain. You should try it. It's the Truth by Deadhead OG. Has my face on it. There's also going to be a new one coming out called Super Dave, which is DJC by GMO. So I'm very honored and humbled. I really love these guys. Head over to Mapleton and 30th, between 30th and 28th, right near the YMCA ball fields. And while there is no discount there, the discount is just knowing they exist. So go in and tell them you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show.
Yeah.
Oh, fish shit.
Yeah.
Great product, man. I was wearing their shirt and people kept thinking I was insulting fish. So the band actually, but yes, they're for right now they are tied for first place.
That's a good one because he had a tie-dye
right
fish shit shirt on, right?
Right.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That is actually awesome. We should get more people wearing those at fish shops. Great, just to see that everyone being all sour. And,
you don't like fish? Give him a chance. Give him a chance. No, but fish shit is a great product.
You want to give a chance to fish shit because, super easy to use. Just use like 2 to 3 mil per gallon all the way through the process. Plants respond amazingly, and terpene profile seem to be higher. It retains everything better. Haven't heard of everybody that tries it loves it, so definitely contact them. Tell them you want that done deal because 25%, that's fucking huge, and gets delivered to your door. So, Yeah, check them out.
And don't open it
And
in the car
doing,
if
playing
you're
games
driving
or
it
something?
home.
What's going on?
No, Mark
yeah,
has
yeah.
the chat frozen,
And
so
try not to fly with
he
it.
was laughing, so I wanted to see what he was laughing at. Who's after fish it? Well, we let's say that we get them excited. Maybe it'll be 26% tomorrow.
Oh,
You
yeah,
never
because they
know.
want to be top dog.
Right, top dog.
They just got matched.
They got matched. Table stakes. Match the stack. Oh, Terp Wipes. Terp Wipes is so fantastic. It cleaned up Adam's goop all over this area thing here. In fact, the table looks clean for the first time. It's amazing. We love this product.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware of my goopiness, so and it's usually covered in regular. I'm done. So it's kind of so Terp Wipes come in handy. I'll use 5 at a time. I'm telling you,
And
in
remember,
general, it's definitely an awesome product that you want to get a subscription because it's the kind of thing where you run out. The day you run out, it's like you want to have it already there. You don't want to have to then order it again. And some products you should not get a subscription for, and some you should. And this is definitely one that you should. It's handy as fuck, and it'll clean it. And it cleans everything. And it's ethyl alcohol too, so it's not isopropyl. It's gonna dry your shit out, or fucking, those are all cheap. This is high quality, bigger, thicker pads, all around good. So, you have to go to tell them the website.
It said coupon expired, so I'm going to have to give them a call. So we might have to halt this ad just to make sure the discount still works. But it said $28.99. Somebody confirm that that's a discount or not. But it's still a great product. You got to use this stuff.
Now, but
it's an amazing, amazing product.
We love it. And cool. So
it cleans everything, including Mark's taint.
Big daddies.
Oh, here we are. Illuminar.
Ooh.
Let's run their. Can you run their 30-second video? That we
you got to give me a second. You guys got to talk for a second, and then I got to go find it. You know what I mean? So
let's just see it's here. Let's just do seeds here now. Do seeds here now, and you go find that shit. While we're doing seeds here now.
But I can't do it while I'm showing the browser.
You can't do it.
Otherwise,
just let him do his thing right here, and So Illuminar, we are giving away an IL-8 at the end of the month. I believe it's worth almost $1,000. So you need to send in an email to donedeal@adamdunnshow.com with a picture of Adam sort of humping a lamp or something like that, something really creative. And that will be the winner.
Great idea.
All right, here it is.
Here it is.
Here we go.
All right, hold on a second.
Holding on. Oh, look at all your porno on the side.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that was exciting music. It was like somebody was going to get killed at the end.
Yes.
Like right at the end. Just. Oh, is he frozen? That's a good froze picture.
I couldn't see it.
Yeah, I know.
Who, me?
Oh, yeah, you didn't get to see it.
I mean, I could have done stuff to make that happen.
Shitty Jamie.
I mean, that would have been a whole lot
ShittyJamie.com.
I've done a lot of stuff today.
You did great. You pushed buttons
I did
like
a lot
the
of
best.
stuff today for no weed, you know what I mean? So
For no weed! Well, wait, for 6 bagels and 3 grams of...
I'm just kidding with you. I'm messing
There was no weed here for us. This was because you're quarantined, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, we should have asked the doc if weed can get COVID.
No, I have weed though.
Yeah, we're okay.
Team
We'll be just fine.
Bud.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He's a very nice man.
Very nice, except for telling me that was 50 milligrams or 40, which was a total lie. Damnable lie.
Illuminar.
But go to Illuminar.com, enter Done Deal at checkout, or give him a call. I don't know what the discount is, but it is a healthy discount on all their products right now, even their latest ones, the IL-8. And like I said, we're giving one away. So tell us why you want one. We'd love to give one to you. We're going to have Eric, one of the founders, on the show as well on the 27th. And we'll have him in for Zoom. So if you guys have questions about LED technology, HID technology, anything like that that you haven't asked Adam, he'll be here to answer your questions.
Maybe not.
Yep, for sure. And
yeah, right. Who the hell knows?
What?
Well, he could be like Scott and blow you off every time we've invited him on the show, or like Boris. So it's entirely possible. No, it won't. I've already did a pre-interview with them. He's a great guy. He's got good stories.
No, Scott was funny because Scott did exactly like this style where he ate an edible and he was laying on the couch and he woke up and it was like 2 in the morning and he's like, it was like the classic. Like, I'm just going to eat this and then I'm going to get on the show. It's going to be great.
Everything's going to be fine.
Power slept through the thing.
Slept through it.
Worked out well. Yeah. Power slept through it.
That should be a strain that Seeds Here Now should sell.
Yeah, and you also got to go check out before we go to Seeds Here Now. You got to make sure that you also check out the word of the month on their Instagram account. If you need to know that, yes,
it would really suck for you to send in.
Call you because you sent us your phone number.
You got to have the phone number.
The winner with no phone number.
We've had them.
$1,000 down the drain.
Right down the drain.
So yeah, we've had it plenty of times.
So get those emails in.
So that's
remember,
going to be a cool show. 27th. We'll be at that show. We'll be based at Area 420. Then I'll be out of quarantine. Let's say. Hopefully, we'll see.
You guys got away at Lamp last week?
Yes,
you will not be out of.
Hey,
what?
Did you guys do the lamp last
week?
Yes,
we did the lamp last week.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. You got to send me who it was, dude. You know what I mean? Do you know who it was? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, we do.
Who was it?
I have it in the email. I'll forward it to you.
It's in YouTube too.
Yeah,
obviously.
You watch the show.
You gotta watch all the way to the end like that?
Yeah, you do. Oh, damn. SeedsHereNow.com.
HereNow.com. James Bean, man on the scene. Hasn't called in a long time. If he's listening, he should call in right now and tell us what's going on because he's been all over the place. He's at his birthday. He was down in the Caribbean. He's doing this, doing that. Got a lot to tell us. He's been very much James Bean, man on the scene episode. A lot of scenes.
A lot of growers in his stable.
If he doesn't, we'll just talk about him because.
Well, I see his Twitter
70
feed.
That's 70 breeders, more probably now. Dude, I was going to say, I have literally this fly flying around my fucking head. I managed to catch 3 flies by them sticking to the open container of my fucking thing. So they just land on it, get stuck up long enough that I can grab them and squeeze it. I know.
That's gross.
But it's in the cover, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Weird.
You know?
Weird, man.
Yep. So there you go.
You got to follow.
Another use for
the sticky lid, but go to Twitter and follow SeedsHereNow.com because he's posting several times a day. Most of the time he's posting some special that's coming up or some strain drop that's going to happen that is going to sell out. So go to SeedsHereNow.com, enter Dunn Deal at checkout, 10% off.
Look at all these breeders.
I know.
Yeah, an original cookies and cream pack.
There.
And Adam left his seeds here. We should give some seeds.
Digging into the vault.
Yeah. Adam left all the seeds here.
Yeah, let's give away some Adam seeds.
Go ahead.
All of them.
What do we got here? Mesa Mist. Oh, they're all Mesa Mist. No, there's some more. But go to SeedsHereNow.com. You can get Top Dog seeds. You can get Capulator. You can get Miles Felipe's Weed Should Taste Good. You can get those massive seeds. I can't wait to see the photos from this year's crop. What?
Yep, Top Dog, of course, and Top Dog, JJ.
Yeah, I didn't hear you. It's a fucking Zoom connection.
All the best breeders represented. 100% money back guarantee, or not money back guarantee, but 100% replace the seeds if you have a problem.
Yeah.
Super customer service. So go to seedsherenow.com, enter Dunn deal,
There's a rewards program.
get your deal on checkout.
Earn points and free gear.
Sure.
Points and gear.
And there's a whole bunch. There you go. Tell us about that, Mark.
Rewards program. Earn points and free gear.
Earn points and get free gear, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's, I mean, what else do you know? I mean, it's pretty simple, man.
Hey, shout out to our fearless leader for powering through with the vid out at the farm, man.
I thought I had something here, but
yeah. You didn't want to be here tonight anyway. You just scolded Mark many times for just sleeping on the job and eating too many edibles.
Sloppy.
Warp can do it next week.
Sloppy.
He just had a hissy fit, and he said that Vinnie can do the show from now on. Vinny's listening. You don't give him that opportunity. He's going to come right in. He did things with the buttons, man, that were really cool. And I had to say, no, they're not cool. You suck. Because I was trying to stick up for you.
That's a done deal.
There you go.
All right, Hamilton.
Yep, he had those. Mark was trying to convince me that Vinny sucks was trending on Twitter. And I'm like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true.
No.
Seedsherenow.com. James Bean, you are the man on the scene, and you should call in the show more, man. I don't know what that was.
Call in.
Yeah.
We miss you.
We miss you. Thank you for powering through the show, Adam. I know it was no small feat.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I totally don't care that I didn't get any weed.
All right.
I just want you to feel better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, look at Mark being all mushy. He doesn't care about the weed. He cares about you, man.
That's right, dude.
He's thinking about you. He wants you to feel okay.
That's right.
So just so everyone knows, so I woke up this morning and to see the text exchange that Adam sent through at 2 a.m. of the home test. And for those of you who don't know it, the home test that you could buy at like a CVS or a Costco, Walgreens or something like that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it reads just like a pregnancy test. So when he sent it through and I saw the two little bars go across, the first thing I said was, "You're pregnant?" Too soon, but I thought it was funny. But come on, right? That's what it looked like. It looked like a pregnancy test. So it is the same thing. You get two bars, fuck, or yay, depending on, what it's testing for.
Yeah. Right.
But I really do hope you feel better, man.
Yes,
just power through it. And I would say drink chicken soup, but you don't do the chicken thing. But maybe this time you might want to pick up the chicken soup,
I have a good protocol. Cece's been building up our cabinet full of every combination of herbal thing that you can, and antiviral. So I'm just like,
that must be an interesting cabinet. Can you take pictures?
I think you should follow Mike Denver's advice and do Adam drink lots of tea and smell your farts.
Didn't he say take mushroom enema?
It's a good one.
That is a good one.
Good job, Mike. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks, guys, for joining us. I want to thank Dr. Rob Silver, of course.
You should give him a call. Awesome. He wants to hear from you.
I will. I'll get Freddie pimped out with some products from him. And definitely thanks to Chris Martin for checking in. That was awesome. And great story. Good to hear. And thanks to all the sponsors and the chat gang and everybody who follows the show.
Hey, thanks everybody down at Colorado.
Haters make me famous.
Don't forget Colorado Area 420. Go to coloradoarea420.com.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking to be a grower and get into the industry, it's the lowest barrier of entry. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Wow. Yeah, that was pretty bad, too. Getting sloppy and sloppy around here. But yeah, shout out to Area 420. Enunciate. Mike and crew. Mike actually told me a crazy story because I talked to him yesterday and I was talking to him telling him that I wasn't feeling good, like I might have COVID. And he goes, "Oh, I had that." I was like, and he goes, one of the guys who has a lot there came from Wuhan direct, made the deal, shook hands, and like a couple of days later, he got super sick, and everybody got sick. So he got like the Wuhan fucking direct connection. And I'm like, no fuck around with this whatever we got shit we got. So yeah, he hit with the hard one. So yeah, definitely. Yeah,
the Wuhan guy is not invited to the ADSA.
So it's clear.
Yeah, clear.
No, he is. He's definitely coming. You already met him. You already saw him.
I know.
He's coming.
I know.
So thanks for everybody for watching. And next week we'll see how it goes next week. I don't know what the fuck's happening, but if we can do it, we'll do it.
Right on.
We'll do it.
Might not be the best quality, and apologize for the quality.
No apologies necessary. We put on a show tonight, and you have COVID at home, so don't apologize. You did great, man. Rest up. Drink and eat everything CC gives you, and tell me if you see,
we'll see.
Visions.
And smell your farts.
Smell your farts. Right. Mushroom enemies.
Yeah. And smell your farts, exactly. Yeah. And drink your own pee.
Drink your own pee.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimedia, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it